Louisville has won the toss and will receive. Chaz Thompson and Victor Anderson back for Louisville. And kicking off for West Virginia, Pat McAfee, as we're underway in Louisville. A pooch kick that bounces at the 25-yard line. Thompson wrapped up shy of the 30 by Archie Sims. Hunter Cantwell, his first season as a full-time starter, and he is one of your impact players.
Yeah, he's the guy that's going to lead this Louisville offense. 57% on the season, 14 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. They're going to need his best game. Victor Anderson is a guy that can flat out get it on the outside, but he'll surprise you running between the tackles. And the glue of this offense, Eric Wood, their coaches feel like he has next level talent.
First down from the 28. Cantwell with a play fake and a throw to Chris Vaughn on 1st and 10, and he's out to the 35-yard line. Gain of 7. Starting lineups at the top of your screen for the Cardinals, who prior to Steve Crackthorpe taking over were electric offensively with Brian Brom at quarterback. They're struggling through the air, and they've become more of a run team with Hunter Cantwell at quarterback and in Crackthorpe's system. And here's Bolin, big hole on 2nd down, gets the first down to the 43.
You know, Dave, talking to Jeff Brom yesterday, the offensive coordinator for Louisville, he said they wanted to keep this West Virginia defense off balance. You saw the pass on 1st down from Hunter Cantwell, and then a nice big run by Bolin to kind of keep things going off in the passing game as well as the running game, keep this West Virginia defense guessing.
That's a good West Virginia defense, 10th in the country in scoring defense, 20th in total defense. Again, a huge hole up the middle. Anderson inside the 20-yard line before he's finally knocked down by Robert Sands.
Well, that's why he is one of our impact players. Watch the hole right up the middle of the formation behind Eric Wood, their best offensive lineman, and now it's just Victor Anderson and his speed. He's not a big guy, 5'9", 182 pounds, but he can run between the tackles, as you saw on that play.
A freshman with a 40-yard run. He's over 1,000 yards now for the season. Cantwell to the air, and his pass batted down at the line, incomplete.
Morty Ivy, the inside linebacker for West Virginia, gets his hands on that one. He actually leads that defense with 3 interceptions, 68 tackles, half the sack, and then the 3 picks. He's got a nose for the football. He's a former high school quarterback, so he knows reading the eyes of the quarterback is important at that position.
Here's Powell picking a hole and getting about 5 or 6. Louisville trying to end a 3-game losing streak, its longest in 11 years. Remember, Andre, they were 5-2, and everybody thought, at least in this town, that, hey, we're back. We're back as a contender in the Big East. But they've struggled the last month.
Yeah, and they've struggled because of turnovers. 6 turnovers in their first 5 wins, and then actually in the first 7 games, and then 15 in their 5 losses since then. So they've got to hold on to the football. It's an extreme important area of concentration coming into this football game against West Virginia.
Cantwell with a ton of time, but it's dropped. Chichester was open across the middle at 6 feet 8 inches tall, and the pass was a little bit high even for him, and he couldn't pull it in. And now Louisville will settle for a field goal try.
Boy, he is still kind of a work in progress at wide receiver. 6'8", he's just a redshirt freshman, but you can see him just kind of towering over everyone. Down in this area of the field, he will be a nice weapon to have at that size, throwing up lob shots. And my man didn't figure that it was cold today. Look at that barefoot.
Ryan Payne, it's unusual to see the barefoot kickers anymore, and Payne missed it. Boy, Louisville has really struggled this year. Only 5 of 10 now on field goals, and their long for the year is 36. And so Payne missing the field goal. And if you're West Virginia, okay, you get blown off the ball 2 straight plays in the run game. yet you don't surrender any points.
Well, you know, it's one of those small wins for West Virginia. At that point, you give up a couple of big plays. You're just looking for a small win. A field goal attempt, you just give the 3 up and not the touchdown. But if you can come away with it without giving any points up, boy, that's a home run for you.
How come you're not going barefoot?
No barefoot for me.
About 30 degrees at best. I mean, that's what they're telling us anyway. It doesn't feel like it. Feels like it's about 3. So Pat White taking off on first down across the 30-yard line, picking up 12.
Let's take a look at our impact players here, led by Pat White, who may be having his best season as a Mountaineer at quarterback. He is a dual threat now, not just a threat to run the football, but he's got some help. Noel Devine, a sophomore running back, provides a lot of speed and excitement. And then Jock Sanders will line up in that slot position, and he is a guy that 40 receptions on the year can make things happen.
White to the air. And out across the 35-yard line to the 37 is Bradley Starks, who's a third-string quarterback. It has been maybe Pat White's best year. He's tied for the Big East lead in touchdown passes, and he's also run for almost 600 yards and 4 scores.
Yeah, the difference, he's getting through his reads and checks a lot better this season.
Just a terrific resume. 3 consecutive 11-win seasons and 3 straight New Year's Day Bowl victories, the Sugar Bowl, Gator Bowl, and then last year's Fiesta Bowl win. And how many quarterbacks can have an opportunity maybe to win 3 BCS Bowl games? That's if they win the Big East. Devine on the fake reverse gets tattooed at the 38-yard line. Sergio Spencer made the stop.
And we'll get into Pat White and all of his accomplishments. Maybe the most indispensable player in all of college football and what he means to his football team. But Pat White has grown as a quarterback. 100% this week. He's been suffering from a shoulder and a thigh bruise, but he's back. He is 100%. Talked to him a little bit yesterday and was excited and ready to play.
Big third down and 3 for White. White looking for a hole. It's there. First down to the 47-yard line for Pat White. See the starting lineups at the top of your screen, and that little pregame shoving match we saw was in part because the Louisville players were yelling stuff at Pat White. He jawed back, and before you know it, they were meeting at midfield. Here's Jock Sanders, and he trips and falls after maybe a gain of 1.
Oh, you talked about Pat White a little bit, and going back to that third down conversion. That's the old Pat White, where you just kind of line him up and take advantage of his athletic ability, let him read some things out. But you're going to see as the game progresses his ability to, as he's expanded the passing game.
That throw on the money to Starks across midfield. Well, White's completing 66% of his passes, and if he rushes for 170 yards today, 197 yards, excuse me, he'll become the #1 all-time leading rusher among quarterbacks.
I think the perception is that, with West Virginia at 6-3 and taking into account 2 of those losses were overtime losses, that he's not having a good year. You look at that, which impresses me, the 15 touchdowns, only 4 picks to go along with it.
Remember, going into the year, he was a Heisman Trophy candidate, but then that loss to East Carolina, and then, as you mentioned, the overtime loss then the following week to Colorado quieted that talk. White to throw here on this third down, and that pass was just off the fingertips of Jock Sanders, incomplete.
Well, this one was on the money, just off the fingertips of Jock Sanders. No corner route. You're going to see right here. This one just over the outstretched hands of Jock Sanders. Well thrown football. That's one where, as a receiver, we always say, hey, you get your hands on it, you got to come up with a catch.
Pretty good throw.
Yeah, especially on third down.
So Pat McAfee, a semifinalist for the Ray Guy Award. He handles all the kicking duties. He's not barefoot today.
Smart guy.
Doug Beaumont back to receive the punt. And Beaumont will let this one go into the end zone. So each team with a possession offensively, no points scored. This is a great day for coffee and or hot chocolate. Well, as the sun sets on another college football season, it rises here on a cold Saturday in Louisville, Kentucky, as the Cardinals look to get to 6 wins while West Virginia hopes to keep its hopes alive of another Big East championship.
And it is a little chilly today here in Louisville.
They had a lot of success running the ball in their first drive. A flag comes in here as Anderson is tackled by Glover. The reason why Louisville starts this drive at the 10 is because of a personal foul penalty after the punt. It is not 31 degrees. There's no way.
That's being generous. Feels like 25, feels like 5 maybe. It's a little more wind than calm as being reported.
Love it on the offense.
So that'll back it up inside the 10-yard line. That's on Chichester.
Well, this is his first year to have significant playing time. Redshirt freshman, and mentioned the fact that the coaches say he's still a work in progress. Got a lot of upside, but still working away at learning the little tricks of the trade at wide receiver.
So 1st and 15 from the 5-yard line. Cantwell from his own end zone. Had a lot of time to throw, then throws it underneath, and the ball comes out. They're going to rule that Anderson is down at about the 9-yard line. Anthony Leonard on the coverage for West Virginia.
Well, the thing about Hunter Cantwell is that he's got a lot of time, but these little short throws, we saw the one to Chichester that he threw was a little bit high. A little bit too much mustard on that one, as a coach would say. You got to throw one that a receiver can handle and easily handle it, and as well get back into your stride so that you can a nice little run after the catch. Take a little bit off the football.
Anderson turns it up inside out to the 12-yard line. Well, there probably was some unfair expectations placed on Hunter Cantwell. At 6'4", 235 with a strong arm. A lot of scouts salivate just at that. But here's a guy that really wasn't a starter until this year, his senior season. He gone from being somebody that's been talked about as a first-round pick now maybe to a free agent.
Yeah, just played a little bit coming into this season, his first full season as a starter. You see the 14 touchdowns and 12 picks to go along with it. A little up and down kind of bumpy ride for Hunter Cantwell this season.
Cantwell on 3rd and 7 overthrows Chris Vaughn, incomplete. And Louisville will have to punt.
Well, that's the thing about a guy with a big arm, Dave. Sometimes they want to rifle everything, and you have to learn that there are times on a pass like that you got to touch it over the linebacker, put some nice touch so the receiver can handle the football. When it's being zipped in all the time, those passes, especially on a day like today where it's real cold, the ball feels hard, those are tough to handle.
The punt by Corey Getchie is short, and Hogan gets creamed and lost the ball. He muffs it at the 48-yard line. Powell came in there and drilled Hogan on the fair catch. And some pushing and shoving as well.
Looks like West Virginia's going to hold on to the football here. The officials trying to break things up in the middle of the field there.
So West Virginia does maintain possession.
I like it. Mixing things up a little bit. Guys ready to play in this cold weather.
Ovid Goldborn recovering the fumble for the Mountaineers.
Take a look here, and nice lick. Ball comes free, and then a West Virginia player actually heads up to get right back on it. They're going to set Pat White up. This West Virginia offense in some pretty good field position.
West Virginia had won 5 straight until a loss 2 weeks ago to Cincinnati in overtime. That's why the Bearcats had the tiebreaker. That pass thrown too hard, but again Sanders had his hands on it. Incomplete. Take a look at our Sonic rivalry recap. This has been maybe the best rivalry in the Big East the last 3 seasons. And last year Pat White won it on a 50-yard touchdown run with under 2 minutes to go.
You see there, since 1990, West Virginia leads the series 3-2, and no game's been decided by more than 10 points. So it's been nip and tuck for these 2 football teams.
Jarrett Brown is in the game at quarterback, and Pat White is lined up in the slot.
Call this the Big Brown package.
And Brown powers his way to the 45-yard line. Then Louisville strings it out. Daniel Covington on the initial hit for the Cards.
The Big Brown package, when they put him in, they'll line him up at quarterback. They'll line him up in the slot. They like him in at quarterback in the shotgun in short yardage situations. At 6'4", 220 pounds, who wouldn't? When you get that big guy running downhill.
Played for Bob Huggins last year on the basketball team as well. 3rd down and 5. Pat White back in at quarterback.
I think Huggins is going to do a heck of a job there at West Virginia, the basketball program.
Problem is they're in the best league in the country by far, the Big East. Louisville's basketball team ranked 3rd. And no Joe Alexander for the Mountaineers. Led them a great run in the tournament last year. That was a bad throw by White in the dirt, well short of Sanders on 3rd and 5.
Boy, tough throw for Pat White. Rolling right as a lefty. Really got to square the shoulders up to make that throw to Jock Sanders. That's, you know, it's equally as tough if you're a righty going left. You got to square up a lot, turn those shoulders and whip the hips around in order to throw an accurate pass.
He's not calling you, is he, for some advice on how to throw?
I gave him a little advice yesterday during walkthrough, so he'll be all right.
Jeff Mullen, the offensive coordinator.
Really fun kid to be around, Pat White. Just having fun playing quarterback at the collegiate level.
McAfee almost had that block, and he got run into, but no penalty flag. Great punt, though, by McAfee. It's down at the 2-yard line. Adam Hughes down there for the Mountaineers. Back to Louisville in a moment. Better think if you're a player today. A lot of extracurricular activity might end up costing somebody at some point.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard, and in part by Samsung Mobile, proud sponsor of ESPN Rivalry Week.
Welcome back to Louisville, home of Churchill Downs, which hosts the Kentucky Derby.
And back to you, Dave, or is it Wilbur?
Thanks, Ed. You have a future.
Oh, man.
And Churchill.
Go ahead.
Churchill Downs close to the stadium here. You can turn around and see it if you're sitting in those seats. Louisville for the 2nd straight possession starting inside the 5-yard line. And a big hole up the middle, but it closed quickly as Powell pinballs forward to about the 10. Gain of about 7. Anthony Leonard made the stop.
Well, you've seen 3 running backs for Louisville. Victor Anderson and Powell and Bolin as well. More the physical back, Bolin, but Powell's a nice mixture of the 2. And you've got Victor Anderson, kind of undersized speed back, but can run between the tackles. I like all 3 of them. They give you high dosages of all 3.
And they're running right behind their first-team All-Big East center, Eric Wood, one of the best at that position in college football. And they do it again. And it's a first down for Powell. Out to the 25-yard line.
Boy, Eric Wood, Dave, is doing one heck of a job in the middle. Watch him right there in the middle at center as he just kind of clears things out for Powell, just washes everything to the left side of the formation, and that's where they're having the success in the running game behind the big fella, number 77, Eric Wood.
47th straight start at center. Cantwell looking for Beaumont, who makes the catch about 2 yards shy of the first down marker, tackled by Brandon Hogan. As we go to the studio and say hello to Reese Davis.
Hello, Dave. Hope you guys are enjoying a little battle there. Taco Bell studio update. Army and Rutgers chip out and put it on the ground. Joe LaFedge there to scoop it up and go the other way and score. Scarlet Knights get on the board less than 2 minutes in, and now they're halfway through the first. Rutgers turned their season around, trying to be bowl eligible, up a touchdown.
Yeah, they were 1-5 at one point. First down as Brock Bolin gets across the 35 and out to the 40. Doug Slavonic on the tackle. Rutgers turned it around once conference play started. 4-2 now in the league. Against Cincinnati, if it wins out, then it wins the Big East. West Virginia needs Cincinnati to lose, and the Mountaineers have to win out to win the Big East.
Yeah, Rutgers has done an excellent job. Greg Schiano, the head coach there, getting things turned around and with an opportunity to actually get bowl eligible. So we've got to have an important game today against the Black Knights.
Play fake, Cantwell setting up. And he's able to make that throw. Beaumont inside the 35. Breaks a tackle. Beaumont finally tackled at the 14-yard line by Glover.
Boy, this is a nice throw by Hunter Cantwell. Watch the eyes here, moving coverage. Just sitting tall in the pocket, delivering the football, and right here Beaumont gets outside of his man, and then now it's a run after the catch that does it for Louisville. They've got some receivers that can make plays once they have the football in their hands. Louisville moving, nice drive here.
47-yard pickup. That's why scouts are interested in Cantwell, because he can make that throw across the field outside the numbers. Powell bangs inside the 10 to the 9. Chris Neal made the tackle. Well, today over on ABC at 3:30 Eastern, Penn State trying to secure a Big Ten championship as the Nittany Lions take on Michigan State. College football presented by Best Buy, part of Rivalry Week presented by Samsung Mobile. Joe Paterno saying last night at a pep rally that he plans to be back.
Hey, why not?
Next year. We'll see if that holds up. But
9, 10, 11 games. Why not come on back?
This drive started at the 3-yard line. Powell. Again, they run behind Wood. Powell keeps those feet moving, and he's right at the first down marker. Rancho Allen tripped him up.
I like that. Who's the first guy there getting Powell off the turf? Big Eric Wood, and just kind of watch him right in the middle of your screen, just moving bodies. Right here, nice job of positioning the body. It's all about leverage up front for a center and guards as you try to get that pad level under the guy in front of you, and it's tougher when you have a guy sitting right over your nose every play to maneuver and make nice blocks. Eric Wood, one of the best at doing it.
Powell gets the first down inside the 1. Anthony Leonard saved the touchdown, but it's 1st and goal.
Well, I love it. Until you stop it, I'm going to run it right at you, right downhill, and it couldn't be more in the middle of the field or in the middle of the formation and going right behind that big guy. I'm going to do it until you figure out a way to stop me. And matter of fact, I'm going to keep 3 fresh backs coming at you.
And timeout called by Louisville here.
And they
Cardinals will have first down and goal inside the 1. Been a great rivalry the last 3 years. A lot of chippiness, helmets flying off here in Louisville. This drive started at the Louisville 3. What was that guy brave?
Somebody took his shirt.
I mean, the players are even huddling around the heater.
That's a better idea.
1st and goal for Louisville. It got inside the red zone on its last drive and missed a field goal. Here's Powell diving in. Touchdown, Louisville.
Powell here, what are you going to give him, Dave? I'm going 9.3. Kind of ball comes a little loose.
He was able to elude a couple of would-be tacklers on that dive. Tried to go low. They didn't think he had the ups. And the extra point good by Tim Doherty, a new kicker, the 3rd one Louisville's used this year.
Go back and take one more look. Just a nice elevation by Powell over the top. Going to put Louisville up here 7-0 here in the first quarter.
So Louisville caps its longest drive of the season, 97 yards, with a touchdown to take a 7-0 lead in a critical game for West Virginia. For Louisville, too, because the Cardinals want to get bowl eligible. But for West Virginia, still hoping at a Big East championship, depending on what happens with Cincinnati in its last 2 games.
Hey, look at Louisville. They've gone 10 straight seasons, and they have non-losing seasons in those 10 years. The last losing season for them being 1997, when they went 1-10. So they're trying to avoid that here against West Virginia, as well as get themselves bowl eligible.
Philpott kicking off. And it's taken by Rogers near the sideline, and he's back towards the 20, but won't get to the 20. And let's go check in now in the studio with Reese Davis.
David, we'll let you know what's going on in the family of networks. Michigan and Ohio State right now. There's been a grand total of 1 first down. That's what we've seen more of. Sacks. Nick Sheridan going down, already sacked a couple of times. It's been Terrell Pryor. They are scoreless in the horseshoe. And the old Oaken Bucket in Joe Tiller's final game at Purdue. Right now, Tiller's crew off to a good start, up 17-0 on ESPN2.
Well, Reese, that Michigan-Ohio State game started a lot like ours, with some pushing and shoving in midfield prior to the kick. Daryl Jala comes in the backfield along with White, who takes off on first down and heads for the hills as he had Johnny Patrick running after him at the 24.
Well, you see the helmet of Chris Vaughn. It keeps popping off. He's wearing number 84 today. You see here, he loses it down around the goal line as well, right there on the kickoff return. He's wearing the number, and kind of in respect for Scott Long, who they lost with a torn ACL in practice, their best receiver. So he's honoring him wearing his number, but he's got to hold on to that helmet.
Oh, great fake by White. First on the handoff and then on the spin. I mean, if you get in the open field one-on-one with him,
forget about it.
You better get those feet ready.
You're going to lose shoestrings. You're going to lose everything when you get one-on-one with Pat White, because he is just a phenomenal athlete, a guy that can make you miss, and he's got speed to take it the distance.
Well, he is a 2-time Big East Offensive Player of the Year, the first repeat winner since Donovan McNabb won 3 straight from 1996 to 98. And as far as I know, Pat White knows that there is overtime in college football. Play fake. White on third down gets the first out to the 35-yard line. You know, I'm just kidding, Don. I still love you, but
Syracuse alum.
But Pat White, you know, I wonder if people around college football know what they have. I mean, this guy has an opportunity, if West Virginia goes to a BCS game, to win 3 BCS bowl games.
And he's what, you're right, he's what college football is all about, the student athlete aspect of it. We talked yesterday at length during the walkthrough, and he's set to graduate in December, 6 hours this semester. So he is everything right about college football.
Great move by White. There he goes. Right on cue inside the 30. Goodbye. Touchdown, Pat White. His 94th career touchdown. He trails McNabb by only 2 for number 1 in Big East history.
I think he knew we were having a little conversation up here about him. I mean, right on cue to get West Virginia right back in this ball game, and he's such a dangerous weapon, flying under the radar this season, but having maybe his finest season all around, both throwing the football as well as running it for West Virginia.
McAfee tacks on the extra point. The 20th touchdown Pat White is responsible for, 94th in his career.
Well, this play starts with the fans in Louisville chanting defense, but now with Pat White on the field right here, a nice little move, and now you're going to just see the speed and watch him take over. Nobody in the stadium going to catch him when he gets out on the edge.
He now is only 104 yards shy of breaking Brad Smith's record for most rushing yards all time by a college quarterback. And this guy seems like every year he's gotten better. He's become more of a complete quarterback every season.
He's so focused. You know, I kind of slipped the question in. How about the next level? Where do you want to play? Not even thinking about it. He says, I've got unfinished business right now. We're trying to get to a BCS bowl game. Some things have to happen for us in order to do that. But he's got business to finish up here on the college level. And I just love each and every time I get to interact with him. He's such an intelligent individual, so down to earth. He is a joy to be around.
Pat's little brother Coley is a freshman quarterback, both from Daphne, Alabama. Was barely recruited to play quarterback. A lot of schools in the SEC wanted him as a defensive back. And Bolin takes it on a hop. How about that heads-up play there to grab that, get upfield near the 40-yard line. Let's go back to the studio and check in again with Reese.
Well, Dave, here's some of the unpleasantry you alluded to in the pregame between Michigan and Ohio State. I think they're just asking each other how the families are doing. 1 first down between the two until Beanie Wells breaks off the longest play from scrimmage for the Buckeyes this season. 59-yard touchdown run. Ohio State might have enough points to win. 7-0.
Well, he is just so dangerous. Big back, almost 240 pounds, and has breakaway speed like that. Wow.
He's not Pat White fast, but he's pretty fast.
He's fast enough.
Cantwell with a laser beam that's broken up at the last moment by Hogan. And that's the end of the first quarter in Louisville. Pat White with another West Virginia touchdown. And we're tied. Well, the previous go-rounds between West Virginia and Louisville have been spectacular. A triple overtime game in 2005. Pat White, meanwhile, approaching the FBS quarterback career rushing record. Already got 94 yards on the ground. Andre Ware will wear it out. Maybe Pat White being the most indispensable player in college football. West Virginia trying to win its 5th straight Big East road game. Last year, White won the game in Morgantown with a 50-yard touchdown run late in the contest. Good patience by Bolin on the outside, and he gets to the 42-yard line, a gain of about 4.
Well, kind of keeping this West Virginia defense off balance. Bolin, known for his power, able to run between the tackles, and they've certainly had success behind Eric Wood, the center, but they go out on the edges and pick up a nice little gain.
Well, Eric Wood got into it in pregame, a little slap attempt, a West Virginia player, and he's been blowing guys off the ball ever since.
MVP so far.
Well, it's his final game here at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium on Senior Day. Cantwell's pass pulled in by Vaughn. First down at midfield. Ian Smith made the stop for West Virginia.
Well, it's just tough when you follow a legend like Brian Brom coming in, Hunter Cantwell, and a lot of expectations. Supposed to pick right up where Brian Brom left off, and had some, you know, has had a kind of a roller coaster ride this season for Louisville, but solid this afternoon.
Former walk-on. Here's Bolin, big hole on first down inside the 45. Hunter Cantwell playing in his final game at Papa John's Cardinal Stadium, and really a first-year starter. He did play 3 games last year, 7 in 2006, 8 in 2005, and he started the Gator Bowl when Brom was hurt. And Steve Cragthorpe telling us yesterday he's got a ton of respect and loves the type of kid that Hunter Cantwell is.
Well, they wanted to go a lot of 3-step quick game with him today. It's been successful.
Victor Anderson slammed by Anthony Leonard. He got near the first down marker, and they got pummeled.
Oh, watch this. You're right back behind Eric Wood again, where the bread is being buttered in the running game. Nice position right here, and I think if he cuts outside as opposed to following it right up the middle, he's got a nice little crease back to his right. Maybe he missed the read there, but Leonard made him pay.
Third down and 1. Bolin is in the game at running back. Cantwell with play action, then he overthrows James Bryant, his intended receiver. Julian Miller had pressure on Cantwell. I think Louisville's going for it on 4th and 1.
Well, this is an area of the field where a lot of coaches, you get past midfield, and this is a nice area to take kind of a gamble, so to speak, and I would do it. You got Bolin, who's a big power back in there at 6 foot, just under 240 pounds. Good shoulder lean, good body lean. He can pick it up.
JT Thomas just hobbled off the field.
Then you got Cantwell at 6'5", 236, just run a quarterback sneak.
It'll be Bolin, and he picks up easily the first down inside the 40-yard line.
Well, it does wonders for a team's energy, and you keep the momentum on your side. I thought West Virginia and Pat White did an excellent job coming back to match points and not let this thing get out of hand. You're on the road. It's a home game for Louisville, and they've certainly captured the momentum in this game early, but you come back and you respond. Now Louisville trying to take it right back, take that momentum back from West Virginia.
Cantwell again on play action, throws a dart, and Beaumont gets creamed. Huge hit by Ellis Langster, but Beaumont able to hang on to the ball.
Ladies and gentlemen, that hurts, especially on a day when it feels like it's 5 degrees outside. Running start, and you watch Langster here come up. Boy, that is just how you tackle right there. Helmet leading right between the shoulder pads, and you can see what you're hitting.
Again, play action. That pass tipped and incomplete. Sidney Glover coming on a safety blitz, got a paw on it to knock it down, and it's 3rd and long.
He's got a sack to his credit on the season, go along with 48 tackles, and they run that 3-3-5 look and can bring pressure from a lot of different ways. They'll give you the 2 deep zone look, and all of a sudden you have guys in your face. They'll bring zone pressure, or they'll drop a defensive lineman out, bring linebackers. It's a complicated defense.
Jeff Castile in his 7th year as the defensive coordinator stayed here when Rich Rodriguez took some folks off this staff to Michigan. Cantwell hit, and the ball sails on him, and it's incomplete. Intended for Chris Vaughn.
Zach Cooper is the guy that gets there. He's converted linebacker who moved down to defensive end last year during the Fiesta Bowl. Those workouts, you get those extra practices, and kind of found him a home at defensive end.
Cantwell hobbling. The backup is Phil Sims' son, Matt, who is a freshman. Langster, after a big hit, now going to return the punt. And it goes about 8 yards deep in the end zone. So only a net of 15 yards on that punt. We're tied at 7 here in Louisville, Kentucky.
For all you outsiders out there, there's only one way to say Louisville. Now, it's not Louisville, 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 or Louisville. It's Louisville.
How do you say it?
Louisville.
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 And if you don't say it correctly, they will
correct
like
you.
It. So 7-7 is the score. Louisville and West Virginia. Pat White with a touchdown run. Meanwhile, Noel Devine with just 1 carry so far in this game for the Mountaineers. He's closing in on 1,000 yards for the season. Pat White closing in on the quarterback rushing record for college football. 104 yards away from breaking Brad Smith's mark. And White able to break a tackle and get out to the 25-yard line. What position do you think Pat White will play in the National Football League, if at all?
Well, he'll have an opportunity with the fascination of the Wildcat offense to certainly take some snaps and go there. A lot of people have talked about wide receiver, kind of in that slot role. But I think Pat White could do just about anything he wants. Could he be a quarterback in the NFL? Absolutely.
Can he be a good quarterback in the NFL?
I think so.
Now 6'2", 200 pounds. And he's shown accuracy, completing close to 70% of his passes. Of course, he won't be in the shotgun every play like you're in college, as Sanders takes it around the end and gets the first down out to the 35 as we go back to the studio and Reese Davis.
David made a crack earlier that Ohio State probably had enough points to beat Michigan, but just to make sure they get some more, Terrell Pryor sends out his heart line in the middle of a Michigan defense that was not there. 53-yard touchdown, and the route is almost certainly on. 14-0 early in the second quarter.
It's one of those 6 to 8 shots that Jim Tressel and the offense will just drop back and take. Nice connection there with Terrell Pryor to Brian Hartline.
I think he'll be able to play quarterback at the next level as the ball is out and it's ruled incomplete. Ulrich Arnett, the intended receiver. Johnny Patrick on the coverage. Well, it's a rivalry that is one of the best in college football, but Michigan, can't compete with Ohio State this year.
Not this season. Rich Rodriguez doesn't have nearly the talent that he needs, nor the guys in the right places yet at Michigan. It's going to take a couple of recruiting classes, and a lot of heat on him already this season as they're having their worst season in the school's history. It may not get any better anytime soon because you're going to be relying on freshman recruits coming in next season.
White taking it to the outside. Remember, Rich Rodriguez recruited Pat White and Steve Slayton, and then, if West Virginia beats Pittsburgh and plays for the BCS National Championship, Rich Rodriguez is probably still at West Virginia, but he started to look and talk with Michigan after they had approached some other candidates. And maybe he wishes he didn't take the job. Although, remember, as you see June Jones as well struggling this year. Rodriguez struggled his first year at West Virginia. Went 3-8, 1-6 in the Big East. The next year, Rodriguez went 6-1 in the Big East.
That's the Big East. The Big Ten's a different animal. And I don't know how patient the fans in Michigan and Ann Arbor are going to be.
White waiting and then throwing deep. He's got a man wide open. Caught at the 10 by Arnett. How about the patience of White to keep the eyes downfield and then make the throw?
Well, the coaches, Jeff Mullen, the offensive coordinator, told us that he is getting through his reads, his checks much better this season, and they wanted to expand the offense. You think this isn't an NFL-type throw right here? There are guys, 32 of them that start on Sundays. I'll bet you 20 of them can't make that throw.
Arnett hurt himself on that play, but it's a first down and goal for the Mountaineers. Here's Devine inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. John Dempsey made the hit for Louisville.
Well, he has really become a more complete player, Pat White. When you expand the passing game and you open up a lot of things, intermediate routes, the deep route that we just witnessed him throw, as well as the ability to pull it down and run with him. The stats, they're not great, but he's had a couple of drops today.
West Virginia can still get a first down, so it's 2nd and 7.
He's made him count when he needed to.
White already over 100 yards rushing, 62 yards passing. Here's Sanders inside the 5-yard line, and Dempsey comes in there and makes a play on him. 3rd down.
A nice little mix-up. They like to use Jock Sanders in a lot of different ways. They'll line him up as a slot receiver. Actually leads this team in receptions with 40 coming into the game, but they'll hand it off underneath to him, take advantage of his many talents.
Arnett back in the game as you see him here on the bottom of your screen.
Well, they go empty. And don't be fooled right here. Maybe Pat White runs the quarterback draw.
They bring Jala back in the backfield with White, who will block for White, who's not going to get the first down. Great pursuit by Louisville's L.T. Walker. Antoine Kennedy in there sticking his face mask in the chest of White as well.
I like the call here by Coach Stewart. Kick the field goal. You're on the road. You need this football game to stay in Big East contention. Depending on what happens tonight and next week down the road, you want to give yourself a chance here on the road to go up and take the lead in a close ball game.
Pat McAfee, one of the best kickers in the country, has only missed once all year. Only a 21-yard field goal try. But he missed it. I mean, that wasn't even close.
You know, you just don't realize how hard that football is in weather and conditions like this, and it is tough for a kicker. Right here, nice snap. The hold is down. It's good. Get the laces away, but it's just a pull.
Well, he missed a 23-yarder at Colorado, similar because of that angle. That's one way to stay warm for that guy. But McAfee, certainly one of the best kickers in college football. Now that was another great drive engineered by Pat White. The first one was on the ground. The next one was through the air. As we wear it out, is he the most indispensable player in college football?
I think you certainly could make an argument. And to me, it's when you take a player and you remove him from his football team, just how important is he? Is West Virginia as good a football team? You can do it with Colt McCoy. If you remove him from the Texas Longhorns, they're not nearly the football team that they are with him under center.
Yeah, and this is a very subjective thing we're talking about here, because most valuable isn't always the best player, although Pat White is certainly one of the best players in college football. Is Tim Tebow the most valuable player on his team? If you take Tim Tebow away, is Florida still in contention for a national title?
I don't think so. I think he means that much to his team, and you can certainly go through a certain number of players around the country and just how much they mean to their teams. Here's a couple of players. Nate Davis, certainly you take him out of Ball State and they aren't nearly ranked high as they are Graham Harrell. You can kind of make the case with Graham Harrell and Michael Crabtree. Yeah. It's 1 and 1A. If you remove one or the other, it's Texas Tech playing Oklahoma with a chance to play for the national championship tonight.
Javon Ringer, now granted in some of the bigger games his numbers are down, but his presence makes such a difference. Jacques Rogers, Oregon State, potentially winning the Pac-10, and I agree with you about Tebow. He means so much of that football team as that pass is caught by Beaumont out around the 32-yard line for a first down. But Pat White, if you look again at the body of work for Pat White in his career, he's going to go down, and we were talking with some of the West Virginia folks, as maybe the best West Virginia quarterback that's played there. Better than Major Harris, and remember what he did in the late 80s at West Virginia.
Well, recruited by Rick Trickett, who's now at Florida State, and told Rich Rodriguez, if you get him, you're going to have a chance to win national championships, and they were right on the brink of it last year.
Anderson lowers the shoulder out across the 35, gains about 2. Let's check in with Reese.
All right, Dave, North Carolina and North Carolina State, and the Wolfpack quickly improving, needing to win out to go 6-6. Russell Wilson, George Bryant, and just like that, it's 10-0. Now, this is good news for Georgia Tech. And if I might borrow from the movie Stripes, I can't explain it right now because it would take years and cost thousands of lives. Clemson's also on top of Virginia, 10-0 as they play about halfway through the second quarter.
Well, Dabo Swinney, the interim head coach there at Clemson, hoping to get that job. That would certainly help if they could beat Virginia.
Very impressed with Dabo Swinney when we were there.
Anderson on 2nd and 8, flag down. Out to the 39-yard line, Morty Ivy on the tackle. Just to finish the discussion on Pat White, and again, we're not saying that Pat White is a Heisman Trophy candidate.
Offside. 97 on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Offside on Julian Miller. All we're saying is if you take Pat White off of West Virginia, they're not even close to 6-3.
Not even close to being the same football team. He means that much. They incorporate a lot of things, a lot of his talents into what they want to do each and every Saturday. And the package is built around Pat White.
West Virginia coaches told us the offense feeds off Pat White, and then the defense feeds off the offense because of Pat White.
Yeah, it filters all the way through to the entire football team.
Here's Powell, and again running room out near midfield. Tackled at the 47-yard line by Anthony Leonard.
I tell you what, they've done a nice job, Jeff Brom, of running the football, and you found a nice soft area in the middle. A lot of teams feel like if it's a 3-4 front, you should be able to run the football against it because you have one less big guy out of the formation and you're filling it with a linebacker. Certainly when you go the 3-3 look, you're thinking you really should be able to take advantage, especially with a big back like Bolin and Powell coming in there just beating away in the middle.
Cantwell on play action, looking downfield, airing it out. And It's intercepted by Langster. Second INT for Langster this season.
Well, I think it was Doug Beaumont, the wide receiver, trying to get deep and just underthrown by Hunter Cantwell. First turnover of this ball game for West Virginia, and they're going to have decent field position.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Prescription Flomax.
Well, if you're looking for some good food, a pharmacy, an adult beverage, and even a museum, all you have to do is go to Wagner's.
One place.
Yep, since 1922, you can put salt on your eggs there, and if you need some help afterwards, you just go right there. Right across from Churchill Downs. Here's Noel Devine, and see you later. Devine inside the 30-yard line, and they finally catch up to him. How about the speed of Johnny Patrick taking him down at the 6?
Simply divine. Noel Devine. And you've been waiting on him all afternoon to do his thing right here. Nice job on the outside. Brian Stanchek, the left tackle there, kind of clearing the way for Noel Devine. And West Virginia, one play, Dave. You talk about speed. They've got it everywhere.
79-yard rush. He had a 92-yard run earlier this season.
Not surprised that it happened. I'm surprised he got caught.
Speaking of one-stop shop, and just hand the ball off to Devine and let him go as a penalty flag flies in delay here on West Virginia.
End game. The offense. 5 yards out. First down.
I can't believe he got caught either.
Johnny Patrick had a nice angle, and just you talk about the effort in which to catch Noel Devine, not giving up on the play. You got to credit that young man, because Noel Devine, you see him and you just think, I can't go get him. But Johnny Patrick had the presence in mind to stay with the play and track him down.
Look at the numbers for Devine and White so far.
Amazing.
Combining for 247 out of the 271 yards. Here's White. Gets stuck at the 7-yard line by Sergio Spencer. And again, a little pushing and shoving afterwards, but
mixing it up a little bit. That's okay. That's all right. But you look at the yards, the combined yards from Pat White and Noel Devine. It kind of reminds you of so many Saturdays when you watched Steve Slayton do his thing with Pat White. And he had a big run last week in a ball game, 71-yard touchdown run for Steve Slayton.
White with play action, looking for his tight end, and a pass is incomplete as a flag is thrown. There was holding in the secondary. Yeah. Tyler Urban was trying to get free, and he was held up.
Holding, 34 on the defense. Penalty half the distance. First down.
So Bobby Buchanan for Louisville.
Automatic first down. Bobby Buchanan, the strong safety. And just kind of check out what Pat White's looking at here as he kind of surveying the field, and you see Tyler Urban where he's trying to go with the football. There just kind of skips it in, but we're going to have the holding penalty and set him up first and goal at about the 3-yard line.
Devine gets to about the 1-yard line. Antoine Kennedy on the tackle. So second and goal coming up. Tonight, Graham Harrell and the Texas Tech Red Raiders needing a win to keep their hopes alive for a spot of the BCS title game. Take on the Oklahoma Sooners. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines. Part of Rivalry Week presented by Samsung Mobile on ABC at 8 Eastern. Just about everybody picking the Sooners to win that game.
I as well. In Norman, they don't lose there.
Here's White, makes the move and is going to come up short of the goal line, tackled by John Dempsey. What has to happen for Texas Tech to win that game?
Well, I think they got to get off to a good start. If they can go down, jump out 14-7, 14-0, and then have Oklahoma have to play from behind, that's a tough place. So force a couple of punts on the part of Oklahoma early in the ballgame. I think all the success is going to have to come early in that game for Texas Tech. They get behind at Oklahoma, look out.
Timeout called here by West Virginia. That will leave the Mountaineers with 2. They're on the doorstep. 3rd down and goal for the Mountaineers, and we come back. Bill Stewart calls for time. All right, Reese, and this has been a very intense game so far, and a huge play for West Virginia. 3rd and goal at the 1. Jarrett Brown in the game at quarterback. Pat White is in the slot to the left of Brown.
Well, this is where they like Jarrett Brown in the short yardage package.
Quarterback sneak. Brown trying to muscle his way into the end zone. No signal yet. And the ball came out as well. The officials still have not signaled. There's been nothing.
I thought he got in.
Now they're saying 4th down. They're saying he did not get in. LT Walker made the initial hit. It's 4th down for West Virginia.
Look, I'm Bill Stewart here. I've been here once. The kicker let me down. Maybe I'd try it again, but take a look at it. Jarrett Brown just kind of continuing to push, and he's touching. It's over.
Yeah,
at that point he gets grabbed and pulled backwards, but I thought it was a touchdown.
Clock is running. 13 seconds on the clock. West Virginia's got to call timeout. Clock at 9.
I'm wondering if Bill Stewart knows the situation with the clock here.
He stops it with 5 seconds left. I think the official stopped it to review it. Now remember, he can challenge it and call timeout.
Will be reviewed.
Now, it makes you wonder, were they going to let the clock run down to a second and then call timeout?
Well, once they take a look at this, it's going to be ruled a touchdown, because I thought Jarrett Brown got himself in. Take a look at it right in the middle of the screen. You see the second effort right there. He's at least touching the goal line, and then he gets grabbed and pulled backwards by John Dempsey, the outside linebacker. But it's clear he's into the end zone. Right there, he's in.
Problem is, it's hard to say that conclusively he's in.
Well, the ball's in his left hand. I mean, even when he's getting spun around, the ball is touching the goal line. It's 6 points.
Yeah, there it looks like he's in. You can't see the ball, though.
Right there, the ball's somewhere that you can't see it, but the other angle in which they have his body, the ball's in his left hand. Once they make the determination that that's the hand that he indeed had the football in, it'll be a touchdown. Right there, he's clearly in the end zone. Clearly in.
Well, Terry McCauley, the head of Big East official, done a great job. This is a great officiating crew that the Big East has. John Marinaro, congratulations to him. Marinato, excuse me, the new commissioner of the Big East once Mike Tranghese officially retires in the summer. I wonder, though, because they couldn't see the ball.
After review, ruling on the field stands.
Yeah, see, and you know what, Andre, remember we had a game earlier this year where they couldn't see the ball, so they said it was inconclusive.
Well, all you got to do is you don't need to see the ball. You know the ball's not in his right hand, it's in the left, and then you draw the conclusion from there. It's a touchdown in my mind.
They say, though, it was inconclusive, so West Virginia's going to go for the touchdown on 4th down when we come back. 4th down, Pat White in at quarterback. West Virginia going for it, and now a timeout called by Louisville.
30-second timeout.
Let's go back and take a look at this play with Jarrett Brown, and we're going to let it play all the way through, because you will be able to see the football at some point here once it plays out. You see the second effort here, and then one final push by Jarrett Brown as he's being turned around. Now, there's the football. It's clear that it's on, at least on the goal line. I don't know how they missed that one.
Well, now, what about the decision by Bill Stewart here? They attempted a 21-yard field goal earlier and they missed it, so he's saying let's punch it in here and get 7.
I like it right before halftime. You've missed one already, as you clearly pointed out, and I think you take the shot here. Go behind big Ryan Stanchek, the left tackle, the senior left tackle. He's their best offensive lineman. This is where they miss Owen Schmidt, though, right here, Dave. A big physical bruiser that they can turn around and hand the football off to.
Yeah, the outstanding fullback who's now in the NFL with Seattle. Here we go. 4th down and goal from the 1. It's Devine, and Devine is in. Touchdown, West Virginia. But this might be reviewed because the knee went down.
Yeah,
was the ball across when the knee went down?
Was it touching? And they're trying to get on the field and kick the extra point before the officials, but they're not going to get it done fast enough.
Well, Louisville's got a timeout. Remember, they can call a timeout and then challenge it. This one does come from upstairs. Let's see where the ball is when the knee goes down.
Well, Ryan Stanchek's the left tackle on the outside. You see Tyler Urban as well, and he's stumbling. The knee's not down yet. He's diving. Oh, that's close.
Did it break the front of the goal line?
Close,
Did
my
it break
friend.
the plane there in the front of the goal line?
I think it may be. You may get the same ruling as the last play. His knee did not touch. He's lunging forward. I think it's going to stand.
Yeah, ruling on the field is a touchdown. Okay, there's the contact. There, the ball is not in.
Not in yet. You see it right there. There's still room between the football and the goal line. But I don't know how you make the determination there if you didn't make it the play before.
Well, I guess the difference they would say is that there you see the ball, where before you didn't see the ball.
I saw the ball on the other play. I saw the football.
No time left here, so it's either going to be 7-7 or West Virginia coming on for the extra point.
Let's take one more look at it. See Ryan Stanchek chipping down, Urban as well, and if he just keeps his feet, he's going to walk into the end zone. He stumbles. That is so close because the ball, it looked as though there was a little bit of room. Here we go.
After review, it was determined that the runner's knee was down prior to the
John Dempsey makes a great play to trip up Noel Devine, and the officials got that one right.
Well, this is the one they're talking about right there. You see the room. There's the football. It's just short of the goal line. And that's the angle that the replay officials took a look at and determined.
So an interesting first half in this great rivalry between West Virginia and Louisville, tied at 7 at the half as we go to Reese, Mark, and Lou and the Best Buy halftime report.
This is ESPN Rivalry Week, presented by Samsung Mobile.
Ah, the serenity of Churchill Downs, the antithesis of what we had at the beginning of this game as we gallop in the mix.
In the mix.
Here's Powell diving, is touchdown Louisville. Great move by White, there he goes. Right on cue inside the 30, goodbye. Touchdown, Pat White. Pat White with over 100 yards rushing. West Virginia on pace for about 600 yards total offense. Yet we're tied at 7 because of missed opportunities, really by both teams, but especially West Virginia. Twice inside the 5, 0 points.
Well, Louisville taking control in the short yardage and controlling the line of scrimmage. A couple of missed opportunities you see here. The missed field goal that would have put them up as well. Hunter Cantrell had a guy wide open down the field. Paisley underthrows it. It's an interception. West Virginia comes back. They miss a field goal that would have put them ahead. Noel Devine, you think he's gone, but a nice job by Patrick in tracking him down and then holding on a short yardage situation, and that has us right where we are right now at tied in this ball game, 7 apiece.
Yeah, the Jared Brown run looked like he got in, but they ruled that he did not. And then Devine, they initially ruled it a touchdown, but then they reviewed it and said that he was down on the final play of the first half. West Virginia will start the second half with the football.
With two teams and a hard-fought first half. on the part of both.
Short kickoff. And it's taken by Rogers, and he gets to the outside and then wrapped up, thrown down at the 39-yard line by Daniel Covington. Let's take a look at our first half stats, brought to you by Samsung Mobile. We mentioned that West Virginia on pace for almost 600 yards total offense. White and Devine doing most of the damage.
253 total yards between the two of those guys, and both had long runs in the first half. But I got to credit Louisville's defense for kind of hanging in there, bend but don't break. A couple of scoring opportunities for West Virginia, and they were turned away, which kept Louisville tied in this game at 7 apiece.
Again, if West Virginia wins out and Cincinnati loses either tonight against Pitt or against Syracuse, then West Virginia would win the Big East. But they have to win out and get some help. White near the first down marker at the 48. He comes into this half just over 100 yards shy of setting the all-time NCAA record for rushing yards by a quarterback.
Just kind of picking up where he left off in the first half. A nice 9-yard gallop there for Pat White.
Good Gallup reference off the Churchill down shot there. Here's Devine to the outside. First down and more for Noel Devine. All the way to the 27-yard line before Kennedy makes the stop.
Well, we always talk about putting on the brakes, but I'm going to show you what it really means. Kind of a cliche, but watch Noel Devine right here. Watch him put the brakes on right here. Stick that right leg in the ground and then cut it right back up and inside. Hey, and you know, you do all that, you really don't lose that much speed doing it. It's called athletic ability.
5'8", 173-pound Noel Devine gets a couple there. Tackled by Adrian Grady.
He came in averaging just under 6.5 yards a carry, Noel Devine, and that's going to increase by days in. And if he keeps up this pace, look at that, 16 yards a carry.
Of course, he got most of that on 1 yard, that 112-yard total, or on that one play, I should say, in the first half. Flag down. White overthrows his intended receiver Bradley Starks, who's listed as a third-string quarterback. We've seen all their quarterbacks in the game at one time. Starks, White, and Jarrett Brown.
Illegal formation from the offense. Not a minute on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
And you talked about Pat White's brother, a quarterback on this West Virginia team. Didn't make the traveling team. And Pat was kind of joking about it yesterday. He's a lefty. You look at Pat White, he's a lefty, as well as Bradley Starks. He's a lefty. So he ain't going out recruiting all left-handed quarterbacks.
Jarrett Brown is a right-handed quarterback, though.
He is, and a big one. Big fella.
So after the penalty, second down and 13. They go empty. And the quarterback draw by White. And he breaks a tackle from Johnny Patrick and then gets drilled out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
I was going to say he stepped out right about the
28. They're going to say
right about the 28-yard line.
And there's an injured Louisville player. It's Bobby Buchanan. There is some pad popping going on down in the field on that last play. And he definitely stepped out of bounds, too, as you can see on that replay, back at the 28. So what looked initially like an 8-yard game will end up being only about a 4 or 5-yard pickup. Get him back to the original line of scrimmage. Buchanan, a starting safety.
Senior, his last home game here in Louisville, was second on the team last year in tackles. Had a career high at 11 tackles in this game against West Virginia last year.
Well, Monday Night Football continues as Aaron Rodgers and the division-leading Packers in a fight for their lives with the Minnesota Vikings and the Chicago Bears. They take on Drew Brees and the Saints, who need wins to still have a shot in getting into the playoffs. Monday Night Football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern. That is a crucial game for both teams in the NFC.
Well, I thought when they picked up Jeremy Shockey, got Colston healthy again, that they would make a run, and it's been tough going for the New Orleans Saints.
Now both those offenses are pretty potent, as are these in this game. And again, White and Devine with about 2/3 of the total for West Virginia in offense. And Louisville, even though it has struggled at times in offense this year, having a good day, just unable to capitalize on opportunities, and a turnover as well by Cantwell.
Oh, what's funny about it is Louisville came into the game 8th in the country in rush defense, only giving up 95 yards a game. And West Virginia's made it look easy.
Yeah, they got 254 on the ground, but they're tied at 7. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Cars.com. Here in Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Muhammad Ali. Great rivalry, West Virginia and Louisville over the last 3 years. Yeah, and the greatest, Muhammad Ali, born in Louisville in 1942. His museum in the city here.
Met him one year at the Super Bowl in Minnesota. Can't tell you how much of a thrill that was for me.
3rd down and 10 for Pat White and the West Virginia offense. White with time, and he's got a man, and he's got a touchdown. Darrell Jalla.
Boy, let me tell you about operating at the quarterback position, and when you feel pressure, you step up in the pocket and not out. And Pat White throws an absolute strike for a touchdown.
21st touchdown that Pat White is responsible for. He is now 1 shy of tying Donovan McNabb for the most touchdowns in Big East history. That's pretty good company.
Now watch him step into this throw. You're going to get pressure on the outside. He steps up in the pocket and there just knifes it right in. See the eyes here. Watch the eyes of Pat White as he's operating, steps up to avoid the pressure. That is right on the money to Jalla.
And the Big East leader in touchdown passes. That's right. Not just touchdowns on the ground for the quarterback, but touchdown passes. Pat White with his 16th of the season. Only 4 interceptions all year by White, who could be the first 3-time Big East Offensive Player of the Year winner since McNabb in the mid to late 90s.
Well, the stats don't look, overly impressive. 4 of 8, 90 yards, and then you have the touchdown pass, but he's had a couple of drops in there as well. So you mix in at least 2 drops, and then all of a sudden they get pretty good.
Yeah. Won 3 straight New Year's Day Bowls, 11 wins each of his first 3 years as the quarterback at West Virginia. And if they win the remaining regular season games and the bowl game, they get a shot to get to 10. And a pooch kick. And the fair catch signal, but it's muffed. But a knee taken by Thompson of the 25. That's where Louisville will start. Let's check in now with Reese.
Dave, every week we honor the AT&T ESPN All-America Player of the Week. For last week, it was Percy Harvin of Florida. Average almost 21 yards per carry. That's pretty good in the 56-6 win over South Carolina. You can access the nominees and vote. Just text vote to 51234 on your AT&T wireless phone. You can also win a trip to the national championship game.
All right, thanks, Reese. And Hunter Cantwell.
Yep, he's going to have to lead his team back because you don't want to give up the momentum to Pat White and that explosive offense. Let them get themselves going, and you're not matching points.
Here's Victor Anderson, outstanding freshman running back. It's stacked up at the 27-yard line. Excuse me, Powell on the carry. Quentin Andrews made the tackle for the Mountaineers. They have rotated Powell, Bolin, and Anderson in there all game long.
Pat White, is he secure on your indispensable list?
It's hard to say whether he's number 1, but he's certainly in the top 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Again, you take Pat White away from West Virginia, then they're nowhere. But is he more indispensable than Tim Tebow, Graham Harrell, and Crabtree, or Nate Davis at Ball State? I don't know. Cantwell's got the arm to make that throw. He completes it to Beaumont. And he'll come up a couple of yards shy of the first down. Brandon Hogan on the tackle.
I like the job that Doug Beaumont has done in this game. Comes back to the football there, which secures the catch for Louisville and a play, because otherwise, I don't think the ball gets there if he's waiting on it. That's a good sign of a good receiver.
Here's the thing about Pat White. We kind of touched on it statistically. Again, the passing ability.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people talk about in college football.
Today he's averaging 22.5 yards per completion, 9.5 yards, 9.9 yards rushing.
Cantwell finds Vaughn, who breaks a tackle. He's got the first down for Louisville. Out around the 47, and then he lost the ball. Looked like forward progress was stopped, but the whistle didn't blow. Sands and Langster jump on the ball. West Virginia's got it.
Well, you can't fault the effort of Chris Vaughn, but you got to hold on to the football when you get in a crowded area. All of a sudden, bodies start showing up. Somebody's going to try to reach in and come away with the football, and that's exactly what happened. They punch it out, and West Virginia is going to be set up in great field position.
Julian Miller recovered the fumble for West Virginia. Sands and Langster punched it free.
Well, you watch here, just a nice little hitch. Ball thrown on time. Now, you start to get in that crowded area. Both hands have to go on the football. And they do a pretty good job. Ellis Langster's the guy, I think, that knocks it out of there, gets it loose.
Looks like they got it right, too, Andre.
Yeah, they did.
Looked like the ball came out before forward progress was stopped. Well, second turnover by Louisville. The first one didn't cost them. We'll see what happens here. White looking deep. Going for Starks. Overthrown. There was contact inside the 5 with Carl Dell Dunning, who is covering Starks, but no flag.
Boy, and it's just the old turnover bug that is just keeps itself in Louisville's huddle. 9 turnovers in the last 2 games for Louisville.
Well, you look at the turnover issue this year for Louisville. In their 5 losses, 17 giveaways, only 6 in their 5 wins. This is a team that was 5-2, beat South Florida, and has since lost 3 in a row, and now in danger of missing a bowl for the 2nd straight year. White gets a block inside the 20-yard line. White.
And he ties Donovan McNabb for the most touchdowns
accounted for in Big East history.
I don't know if he can run with Usain Bolt, but he certainly pulled up a little bit and just saved some for later in the game. Because nobody was going to catch him. He said, why exert any more energy? Watch this. Look how easy he makes it look. Nice block out on the edge by Ryan Stanchek, and now it's just speed. It's just speed and a nice block as well by Jock Sanders. The slot back to that side, paving the way for Pat White.
Point after good by McAfee, and Louisville now in trouble, down 2 scores. Pat White, 161 rushing yards. And so he is now 37 yards away from breaking Brad Smith's record for quarterback rushing yards. What a great day. What a great career for Pat White.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Samsung Mobile, proud sponsor of ESPN Rivalry Week, and Saturn, the company that's rethinking everything. Rethink Saturn.
Well, Turner Maton in the 8th grade from Louisville is cooking something special, and he's going to tell us all about it. What's he doing there? He's putting that in a bag?
Oh, a little egg, some rice. What he's got going on there.
Well, Pat White might have the Offensive Player of the Year award in the bag after today, which would be his 3rd straight, by the way, if he won it. McNabb the last to do it. He has tied McNabb for most touchdowns responsible for in Big East history.
Right.
He's got 2 rushing touchdowns and a passing score today.
One thing about the good ones, they make it look easy. When he turned the corner, whew.
Short kickoff taken at the 17-yard line by Anderson. Runs the length of the field, or rather the width of it, outside the 30-yard line to the 32. All right, let's go back to Turner Maton for the recipe on whatever that was.
Today we're going to make the breakfast of champions. This is omelets in a bag. What you do is you make 2 eggs, crack them, put them in the bag. What we're going to do is take 2 spoonfuls of each, shake it around, make sure it gets all mixed up, make sure all the air comes out of it. Just drop your bag in. It stays in for 15 minutes. And there you have it, Andre's omelet.
How about that? It's pretty good.
That's really good.
Andre's omelet right there.
I don't know that I've ever had an
about
omelet
a
in the bag.
youngster.
Play fake, Cantwell. Pass was tipped at the line. That's a 3rd ball that's been hit today by West Virginia. Sidney Glover on the blitz.
Sidney Glover gets pressure in the face, and as a quarterback, if you can pressure coming. Now you got to react to it. I'd rather not have it coming from the blind side because you don't really adjust. You just stand in there and throw the football. You can get pressure on a quarterback right in his feet. That's frustrating.
Oh, big hit on Anderson in the backfield. Crunched by Morty Ivy. He comes up short of the line of scrimmage. Today on ABC, Penn State needs a win to secure a Big Ten championship and earn Joe Paterno a probable return trip to the Rose Bowl as they take on Michigan State. College football presented by Best Buy, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Samsung Mobile on ABC today at 3:30 Eastern.
A little snow going on at Penn State. A cold game there. Joe Pa says he's coming back next season.
Brian Hoyer has played better on the road, the Michigan State quarterback, than he has at home. Remember, Paterno did make some comments at the pep rally yesterday. That's what we're talking about when he says it. He said that he's going to return.
Powell makes the catch, but well short of the first down marker. John Holmes made sure of that, and Louisville will have to punt the ball.
Now, right now, West Virginia in command. Just think if they would have had that touchdown at the end of the half, it'd be a 3-score lead. But Pat White, 2 touchdowns here in the half, make it 21-7. Coming up, we'll preview Texas Tech and Oklahoma. It's on ABC at 8 Eastern tonight. That's ahead. And then later, Louisville trying to come back to beat West Virginia for the second time in 3 years. And they just ran into the punter. Getchy still down as Louisville taps it at the 30-yard line. If it's running into the kicker, it would not be a first down.
This is the roughing, so it's the big one. Well, you got to be a brave soul to stand in there when you know it's barreling down on you. Got to be oblivious to everything around you. And I always wonder when you see the kids as they punt and they get them blocked or get close to it or roughed. Well, that is a dangerous, dangerous play because you are just kind of out there by yourself.
I want to apologize for the technical difficulties we were having earlier with our audio, but we've got everything worked out. And Louisville will take the football just inside West Virginia territory.
They need to take advantage of a break they got there on a roughing the punter and put some points on the board, preferably a touchdown to get back in this game.
How about Tennessee leading Vanderbilt 20-0? Here's Bolin. They run behind Wood, the center. They did that successfully in the first half. Anthony Leonard on the tackle.
Hit the nail on the head with that one. That was the recipe that was cooked up by the Louisville offense, was go behind the big fella Eric Wood, and a lot of success doing so early in the first half and come out of halftime, and that's exactly where they go right back to. Get back to the running game. Plenty of time left in this ball game to get themselves back in it. Go back to where the bread was being buttered.
Bolin again up the gut. And he stumbles but appears to have the first down as we go to the studio in Reese.
All right, Dave, Michigan had punted Ohio State inside its own 10, so they gave it to Beanie Wells, and he got 42, and then boom goes to Dan Herron. 49 more. That's your basic 2-play, 91-yard drive, all on the ground. All of Ohio State's touchdowns, 40-plus yards, and the Buckeyes up 21-7 on Michigan.
Going to be interesting, too, even if Penn State wins today and locks up the automatic BCS bid for the Big Ten, whether Ohio State gets in as an at-large. Cantwell finds Vaughn, who gets leveled by the safety Sidney Glover. Still a gain of 7 or 8 on the play.
Mark Glover's been all over the place, and I don't know, when you start thinking Ohio State in a bid to a BCS game, yeah, it's an attractive deal, but how fair is it to when you start thinking Boise and a couple of other teams out there? I don't know. I don't think they're a shoe-in, that's for sure. Like, there's going to be a lot of pressure to reward Boise if they indeed run the table.
Well, Utah has got a big one today with BYU. Here's Bolin, and he's got the first down at the 25-yard line. What about the ACC? To your point about the non-BCS schools like Utah and Boise State, then you got Maryland, Florida State playing tonight. Maryland can clinch the Atlantic with that win. And in the Coastal, Georgia Tech with a big win over Miami, but the winner in the ACC might. Probably going to have 3 losses.
Georgia Tech's in the clubhouse just waiting on everybody else because they've got Georgia the final week of the season. They're done with ACC play.
Cantwell on play action. Dumps it off. Tight end Johnny Burns near the 20. I don't know, though, Andre. I would have to think that even if Utah and Boise State both were on the table, that it's probably unlikely that two non-BCS schools would go to BCS.
Well, the
bowls.
rules state that there's only one, but having been there and done that with Boise State, they make a nice case for themselves in terms of should they be there, should they get the opportunity or not. And remember, a couple of years ago, they gave us one of the best college football games in history as they took down the mighty Oklahoma Sooners.
Cantwell with a ton of time, and now he throws it away. Almost threw an interception. That was pretty close to the sideline. Brandon Hogan tried to dive for it. I bet a lot of people in BCS conferences are rooting today for BYU to beat Utah.
I'll bet you they are as well.
And maybe even rooting for Nevada to beat Boise State.
That would kind of fix everything. And one or the other could happen, or maybe both could take place tonight. And when you look down, there's Boise State pinned in.
Top 12. Remember, Utah all the way to 7. You know, if Oregon State wins out, it would win the Pac-10. USC would probably get an at-large, though. They'll get one.
They'll get one.
So then the other one you would think would go to the non-BCS school unless those two teams get beat. Big play here on 3rd and 6. Chichester with a bobble. Great open field tackle by Brandon Hogan to keep him from getting the first down.
Well, you think at 6'8", Chichester would be able to extend and pick up the first down, but an excellent job by Hogan and a nice open field tackle going to keep him short of the first down, and Cragthorpe's going to go for it. Coach Cragthorpe's going to roll the dice here a little bit here in the third quarter.
4th down and 3. Is this the right decision, do you think?
Well, I like it. I like it because the field position, you've had a missed field goal. You don't have a lot of confidence in your field goal kicker, so leave it in the offense's hands.
Only 5 made field goals all season for Louisville, so you can understand why they'd go for it here on 4th and 3. Cantwell has time. Open man is Beaumont. He's got the first down to the 10.
Was there. Hunter Cantwell took a little bit off the football and allowed for Beaumont to catch it cleanly. The one before that to Chichester, it was a howitzer. And you'll see it right here. Take a little bit off, allow him to just catch the football and make a play for you. If he takes some off the other play, I got to believe Chichester picks up the first down because he's able to continue running with the football after he catches it.
Here's Bolin on 1st and goal. Inside the 5, and then he gets body slammed by Quentin Andrews. But again, Louisville able to run the football.
Yeah, he has that big arm, Cantwell, and he uses it at every chance he gets. And sometimes it hinders him to have a big, powerful arm like that because the short crossing routes, all you want to do is just get into a guy's hands and allow him to make a play after. When you zip it in there, now he's got a double clutch, and it allows for a guy like Hogan to make a play on Chichester.
13th play of the drive. Bolin powers in. Touchdown, Louisville.
Good drive by Louisville here, capping it off, aided by the roughing the punter, and they take full advantage of it to come back and pull themselves within 8 points, soon to be 7 if they're able to knock the extra point through. Boy, just opportunities, and you take advantage of it when you're presented with it.
Tim Doherty's point after is good. So 21-14 West Virginia. Great drive by Louisville. You talked about the roughing the punter, and then Bolin, terrific extra effort to get in and make it a 1-score game. 5:44 to play in the 3rd quarter. West Virginia's lead cut to 7 after Bolin's touchdown run. But guess who's coming back on the field?
Yeah, it's like, you know, you make it home, you're running home from the bully, and in school's the next day. It's Pat White waiting on the sideline. He's the bully outside that you know you got to go to school the next day, and he's waiting out in the driveway for you.
161 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns, and a passing touchdown for White as well. He beat Louisville last year with a 50-yard touchdown run late in the game. Ran for 147 in that contest. Phil Pott kicking off. Every kickoff has been short. Taken by Rogers for West Virginia. Across the 30, and then he gets tattooed. James Bryant with a big hit. Well, let's go in depth on West Virginia quarterback Pat White.
Well, it can hurt you so many ways. Can quiet a crowd, and you see him right here. When you allow him to get outside on the edges, he will kill you with his legs and his speed. Then when you think you have him corralled, watch this. Watch the eyes stepping up in the pocket and delivering in the passing game for a big-time throw and touchdown. And then once again, you allow him out on the edge. Look at the speed, the gear from Pat White. He will make you pay.
And White on the outside here to the short side of the field. Not a lot of running room. And Johnny Patrick has been Pat White and Noel Devine's nemesis. He's the fastest guy in that secondary for Louisville.
He's just a fun player to watch. You see the yards per rush today. The completions, 22.5 yards of completion. That's operating at the highest level right there, my friend. Personal best of 247 yards on the ground in a game, and kind of threatening that one in this game.
Here's Devine ahead to the 37-yard line. Monday Night Football has the Packers and Saints squaring off on ESPN at 8:30. Coverage beginning at 7 Eastern with Monday Night Countdown delivered by UPS. And you'd have to think, like an Antoine Randall, who played college at Indiana and now plays receiver, that Pat White's going to play in the NFL, but
no doubt about it. Where? I don't know what position yet, whether he's going to play quarterback or maybe receiver, become a Hines Ward type, but he's got all kinds of speed and athletic ability.
White on the keeper, trying to get to the first down marker. It's going to be close. L.T. Walker with the hit on third down.
It's going to be just short of the first down, and maybe decision time for Bill Stewart as Louisville has kind of recaptured some of this momentum. And yeah, I think you punt the football here.
Now Bill Stewart in his first year as the head coach, an assistant the last 8 years on the staff. Don Nealon and then Rich Rodriguez.
Smart choice, up 7 with a lot of time in this ball game. Your defense is playing relatively decent. Punt the football and play defense.
And you also have Ron English, the Louisville defensive coordinator, has done a really nice job here in his first year after 5 years at Michigan. Last 2 as defensive coordinator.
Very impressed with him yesterday. We got a chance to sit down with Ron English.
Beaumont at the 20-yard line. Gets grabbed at the ankles and brought down to the 22. Let's go back to the studio, check in with Reese.
All right, guys, the Gators are scrimmaging before their date with Florida State next week against the Citadel. Tebow, a little bit of heat, no problem. Riley Cooper still in the first quarter on that catch, 21-0. Obviously, the flag is of no consequence. Gators up 3 touchdowns on the Citadel.
That looked pretty indispensable right there, that throw by Tim Tebow.
That's right. What's impressed you about Tebow? Both Tebow and Pat White, they're known for running the football if you think of both those quarterbacks, but this year having excellent passing years.
Huge hole up the gut. Powell with the first down out to the 37.
Well, we're going to be quick to maybe award an MVP if West Virginia wins the game to Pat White, but I'll tell you what, right in the middle of the formation, a man that's just doing the dirty work. Eric Wood, the center for Louisville, is certainly the MVP of this football game for the Louisville Cardinals.
He just smoked 2 guys on that.
I mean, it's amazing. It's easy to play center when you don't have a guy over your face mask each and every down, but it's tough to play it when you got a nose guard fighting you every play.
He smoked him, and then he got to the second level and pancaked the linebacker. Running play gets a couple out to the 40-yard line. Well, we mentioned right before we tossed to Reese about Ron English and coming over from Michigan and how impressed we were in our conversation with him yesterday. You know, we asked him about why so few minority head coaches these days. Why is it getting worse? And he made an interesting point. He said, you know, in the NFL, really got to impress 1 or 2 guys, the GM and the owner.
GM and the owner, and that's it. And then when you get in the college level, it's the alums. Then it goes to the search committee.
That pass tipped in the air, and it's picked off. It's intercepted by Anthony Leonard. All the way back to the 8-yard line. That's the 4th or 5th ball that Cantwell's had tipped, and this one got picked off.
Well, this one looked like it may have been tipped twice before Anthony Leonard gets a handle on it, the sophomore linebacker. And you're going to see it right here as he steps in, tips it once, then again, and then that's the tip drill right there. The linebackers, defensive backs, they work on that drill each and every day, and it pays off for Anthony Leonard in that situation. Well, you don't want there's the bully again, waiting in the driveway for you. Pat White.
And he's got the ball at the 8-yard line, or at the 7-yard line, rather.
He's waiting at the front door right now, ringing the doorbell.
Play action. White taking off. White touchdown. His 4th that he's accounted for today.
I don't know. Can a guy make a case for the last 2 or 3 games of the season to get back in a Heisman race?
173 rushing yards. So he now is the all-time leader in Big East touchdowns accounted for, surpassing Donovan McNabb, and he might break Brad Smith's quarterback rushing record before the day is done.
Before we get out of here today.
In fact, he needs only 5 yards.
I got a feeling.
Excuse me. That's 25 yards.
I'm going to go on a limb and say that it goes down today. But watch him right here. Nothing open, surveying the field. And this is where it can really hurt you. When the seas part, he can step through and make something happen with his speed.
3rd rushing touchdown, also a passing touchdown for Pat White as Louisville's turnovers continue to kill him.
That's what Rich Rodriguez kind of misses at Michigan right there. That type of quarterback to run and execute his offense. You know, Pat White is a special player.
You know, we're talking about Ron English and how it's much harder, he feels, for minority candidates to get head coaching jobs because of all the levels you got to get through to get the job. And you know, Mike Loxley at Illinois, we spoke to him about this as well, and there was a report yesterday on ESPN.com, a source saying that he interviewed for the Clemson job. And you know, one of the other things that have been talked about, you know, if you keep interviewing and you don't get a job, sooner or later athletic directors start saying, well, what's wrong with him? Why can't he get a job?
Yeah, all of a sudden you're a bad interview or something that becomes attached to you. But the different levels, 1 or 2 guys, it's either the general manager or the owner that makes a decision in the NFL. So it's a little bit easier in that transition. You got to go through the alums, then the search committee, then the board of regents on the collegiate level, and somewhere, and then the president, somewhere along the line, it could get shot down in all those different layers.
Scooped up by Tronzo, the up man, and he's out to the 38-yard line. Well, another school this week named a head coach in waiting, Texas, and Will Muschamp, and I can understand why schools are doing that to protect the guy they want to take over the program so he doesn't leave elsewhere. But isn't that hurting minority candidates?
Well, I think so. But you're going to hire who you're comfortable with. I was kind of surprised at that one because I thought Major Applewhite left Alabama to become the next head coach at in waiting at Texas. If they were indeed going to name one, then all of a sudden it's Will Muschamp who's elevated to that title.
Well, it did help Joker Phillips, who is the head coach in waiting at Kentucky, when Rich Brooks steps down, as Anderson takes it to the 41-yard line, tackled by Francho Allen. Here are the 6 minority head coaches remaining. Turner Gill at Buffalo may end up getting a better job if Buffalo ends up winning the MAC.
He's had an excellent season this year at Buffalo.
And Sylvester Croom, not a guarantee that he's back next year with the struggles at Mississippi State.
Boy, Kevin Sumlin at my alma mater had a big win the other night against Tulsa, put 70 on the board against a high-scoring Tulsa Golden Hurricane team.
Here's Anderson as a flag flies, and he's wrapped up at the 40-yard line. Actually lost a yard there.
Well, now if you're Louisville, just every possession matters going forward. Getting ever so close to the 4th quarter of this ball game. 1:37 left in the 3rd quarter of this one.
Shot block on the offense, number 71. 15-yard penalty, 2nd down.
And that's certainly not going to help you right here when you're backing up and you need to go forward. Down 14, still a lot of time left in this game for Louisville.
Cantwell on 2nd and 22, throws into double coverage. Vaughn makes the catch. They'll mark it down at the 36. So this will bring up 3rd down at about 12 or 13.
I know Vaughn had the fumble. He got a lot of guys around him, but he's made some tough grabs today, wearing that number 84, his normal number 9, wearing it in honor of Scott Long, who was out with an ACL in practice October 28th, lost him for the rest of the year, and a lot of people felt like Scott Long was the best receiver on this football team.
Well, there have been injury problems at Louisville and a lot of off the field issues with some of the players that Bobby Petrino left here before he took off for Atlanta and then Arkansas. As Cantwell's throw is on the money to Vaughn inside the 45 to the 42-yard line.
They got a late flag coming in.
Taunting perhaps on Chris Vaughn. Can't be doing that when you get a big play. Got to knock it off.
Act like you've been there, right?
Kevin, sportsmanlike. After the play, number 84 on the offense, taunting. The result of the play is the first down. We'll have first down after the penalty. 1st and 10.
Yeah, it's kind of upset Coach Cragthorpe, but standing over the defender after you make the catch is going to always draw the attention of the official, and right there getting it from the head coach a little bit. Just act as though you've been there, like you made that catch. Great route. Watch him break it off, go up to the highest level, grab it, tough catch. Now this is what's uncalled for. Now you're going to give him the football.
Here's Bolin out to the 48-yard line, and that will likely be the final play of the 3rd quarter.
You just can't do things to hurt your football team. It's all right to get up, celebrate with your teammates. When you do it and it starts hurting the football team, and you subtract yardage, no place for it.
Well, Chris Vaughn with a great catch, but clearly taunting on the West Virginia defensive player, and that cost Louisville about 18 yards. Salute to Pat White. 4 touchdowns today. He is now the all-time leader in touchdowns accounted for in Big East history, passing Donovan McNabb. Some of our other stats brought to you by Samsung Mobile. And points off turnovers for West Virginia, 14.
Well, this just matters right there. Points off turnovers, the 2 turnovers, and then you go in and cash it. That's the difference in the game, the 14 points.
Here's a running play. Bolin with a first down and more, all the way down to the 40-yard line. Ellis Langster made the tackle for the Mountaineers.
Boy, he is a big, powerful guy that can get outside, as you see on that play. I don't like it. 6 foot, just under 240 pounds, physical. They've beaten the inside of the formation behind Eric Wood, but you get everybody collapsing down and inside. Nice changeup by Jeff Brom, the offensive coordinator, to swing it out wide.
Bolin again. This time not a lot of running room. Remember, Louisville needs a win to get bowl eligible. West Virginia needs to win its remaining 3 games against Louisville, Pitt, South Florida, and then have Cincinnati lose a game to win the Big East. You'll be at the Cincinnati-Pittsburgh game tonight, doing that for ESPN Radio.
Yep, headed down right after this one, and get to see another good college football game tonight. A little chilly down there as well.
One of the best running backs in the country, LaShawn McCoy at Pittsburgh. Play fake. Cantwell in trouble. Flag down. And 2 flags down as the pass is caught by Burns at the 35. And now they're saying incomplete. Well, let's see what the flag is.
Holding. 82 on the offense. 10-yard penalty. Replay, 2nd down.
All right, back to the studio. Here's Reese.
All right, guys, Ohio State and Michigan, once again, another huge play for the Buckeyes on a punt. Ray Small not suspended, not being caught, at least not for a while. An 81-yard punt return that would set up the Buckeyes in the red zone just inside the 10. And from there, Terrell Pryor to Brian Robisky for the touchdown. The Buckeyes have it again, 1st and goal, and it's 28-7.
Well, how about that throw by Pryor as he's getting crunched, able to complete it. Cantwell with a pretty good throw. Troy Paisley on the catch, and he lost the ball. They're going to say that he was down at the 29-yard line by Kent Richardson.
Well, you know, when Steve Kragthorpe took over this program, I mean, he came in and kind of had to start rebuilding from the ground up. We got an injured player there on the field for
Paisley, the wide receiver who caught the pass
for Louisville. But you know, it wasn't an ideal situation for Steve Kragthorpe as he tried to mend and paste this thing together. A lot of had to do some house cleaning, so to speak. A lot of players left this program.
Yeah, 21 players were kicked off the team, and then 44 players out of the 89 recruits over the last few years for Bobby Petrino either were removed or left on their own. There were some academic issues as well with the mess that Petrino left here. Tom Jurich was very patient with Bobby Petrino. Petrino eventually leaving for the NFL and the Atlanta Falcons, and then leaving that job mid-season to go back to Arkansas. But Tom said this week that Coach Kragthorpe's his guy, and that he's safe even though they're struggling. But Kragthorpe did a great job at Tulsa and is highly thought of in the coaching community as son of a coach.
Boy, that's amazing. 44 kids out of 89 was recruited by Bobby Petrino. Either didn't qualify, never made it, or were kicked off. That's a lot of guys that you're trying to still run a program, win, get yourself bowl eligible, and right on the brink of it.
First down from the 29, and trying to get outside is Powell. Pushed out of bounds at the 22.
You know, it's a kind of a different culture. When you think Louisville, you think high flying, you know, balls in the air, a lot of passing, and this year it's been a little bit different. Done a little different on offense, more of the ground attack, as you see 3 guys, Bolin, Powell, and Anderson, getting it done today. But you're usually thinking big time receivers and Brian Brom throwing it around, or whomever under the center for Louisville.
Here's Powell, and he's close to the first down. Looks like he's got it at the 19. They've had some great quarterbacks over the years here at Louisville. Obviously going back to Johnny Unitas, as Good makes the tackle there for West Virginia.
And there he is right there.
Played 2 ways, played safety, right? When he was here at Louisville
safety,
as well.
A lot of quarterback, a little bit of safety.
And we even got the video. Kim Belton, our producer, was actually doing this game. There's Unitas, a little screen pass in areas with a pick. Glad Kim had that in the archives for us. Cantwell in trouble, sacked at the 30-yard line. Julian Miller makes the play for West Virginia.
Boy, there's always a place on the field, Dave, as a quarterback when you know the ball has got to come out. Everything speeds itself up. When you get down inside the red zone, the 20-yard line and in, the ball has got to come out. Expect the pressure now. You don't have the luxury now. I know you get a lineman that's beaten there, but the ball has got to come out. Whether you're throwing it in the stands or in the area of a receiver just to get it away and for an incompletion, but you can't take the yardage loss.
Cantwell gets rid of it quickly this time, and it's nearly intercepted by Morty Ivy, who made a great break on the ball. Got 3 interceptions this year. Couldn't pull that one in, but still broke it up, and it's 3rd down and 21.
When you turn on the film and you start watching West Virginia defensively, Morty Ivy just kind of stands out. He jumps off the film at you, a very instinctive player, reads the eyes of the quarterback very well, comes up and runs support. I think he's got a shot. I really do think he's got a shot to advance to the next level.
Louisville has now run 26 more plays than West Virginia, but they're down. Vaughn on the catch, and that's only going to get about 6 yards. Tackled by Ian Smith, so it's 4th down And 12 or 13. Do you go here? I guess you're at the point where you have to, right?
I think you have to at this point in the game. And Steve Kragthorpe certainly thinking it over, and he's made the decision.
Well, again, their field goal kicking has been as bad as anybody in college football. They're 5 of 10, only 5 made field goals all year. So,
wonder if a kicker or two were one of those 21 dismissed.
On 4th and 16, Cantwell's pass broken up by Sidney Glover, incomplete. And West Virginia takes over on downs. Andrew Robinson, the intended receiver, might have been short had he caught it anyway. Mountaineer football in command by 2 touchdowns. Welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky. There's Micah playing My Old Kentucky Home. Andre, I know you're a big fan of that song, and also a big fan of the Mountain Mama Country Road song. Which one's better? Which one do you like better if you had to pick two? One or the other?
You got me, big fella. You got me with that one.
Well, of course, they're not playing Country Road here. Although they were harassing Pat White, a lot of the fans were before the game, and he said, "I got your Mountain Mama." And Pat White with a terrific day, accounting for 4 touchdowns, and he's off and running again. And remember, he needs only 25 yards to pass Brad Smith as the all-time leader in quarterback rushing yards. He might be close after that run. Got a block downfield from another quarterback, Bradley Starks.
They're going to rule him a little bit short, just about the 42-yard line. But if you allow him to get out on the edge, the speed will just flat out kill you right there. You see him just kind of work his way out of bounds, but just so dangerous with the football in the open field.
So 18 yards there for White, leaving him 7 shy of the record. Devine hit in the backfield, but springs off, and then Pat White with a block. And White springs Devine for the big play. Out of bounds inside the 40.
Boy, the ultimate team player in Pat White. And talk about indispensable right here. Watch this. And it's a defensive lineman. Noel Devine's going to change gears right there. Nice little block. You don't have to throw a knockout block, but just enough to get in the way and create a nice crease for Noel Devine.
Maurice Mitchell didn't like that. He flipped Pat White over. He said, "That's a quarterback who just blocked me."
He knows the film room tomorrow. There'll be a little bit of whispers going on about being blocked by the quarterback.
Here's White. Down to the 32-yard line. Got about 4. Perhaps an upset in the top 25. Here's Reese.
Dave, North Carolina State is putting a beat down on Carolina. The Tar Heels have turned it over 4 times. Russell Wilson finding Owen Spencer. 31-10. Wolfpack hasn't committed a turnover, and that's been the difference so far.
The ACC. Man. I mean, NC State's at the bottom of their division. It's been the craziest year in that league anyway. I mean, Maryland, we saw them earlier in the year beat Cal. They get blown out by Virginia. Then Virginia gets blown out by Duke. Here's Bradley Starks, and he's got the first down to the 25-yard line. Pat White now 3 yards shy of breaking Brad Smith's record. And for those of you curious, since we're talking about Pat White and what he might be at the next level, Brad Smith, former quarterback in Missouri, playing wide receiver with the New York Jets.
Kind of see him maybe in that same role, but that's everyone's kind of pointing that direction when you talk to NFL personnel about Pat White. He's not against making a move. Would like I'm sure to have an opportunity to play quarterback, but not opposed to making a move.
White gonna throw here, and that pass is perfect. Touchdown, Jock Sanders. How about the touch on Pat White's throw?
Well, this is the difference in Pat White this year than any other year. And he's been the Big East Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year 2 consecutive years. But this year might be his best, especially throwing the football. And he's thrown 2 today that have been just straight dimes.
5th touchdown accounted for Pat White today. He's going to break Brad Smith's all-time rushing record for quarterbacks. What a day as West Virginia appears on its way to its 7th win, keeping its Big East championship hopes alive. Pat White, 3 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns. This one to Jock Sanders. West Virginia 35, Louisville 14.
ESPN's college football is presented by Cars.com, where confidence comes standard, and in part by Prescription Flomax.
Well, the 4th annual Greater Kentucky Tattoo and Piercing Expo going on at our hotel. We didn't even know there was a 1st annual, but I think at the Colonel.
You know, just the sound is enough to turn me off.
By the way,
that constant buzz.
Andre will be stopping back at the Tattoo and Piercing Expo to get a tattoo in between this game and the game tonight, Cincinnati Pitt. Here's Thompson on the return past the 35 out to the 36. Let's take another look here at the Colonel and the kind of job that the tattoo artist did. Now, that's pretty good, wouldn't you say? Let's see what the real Colonel looks like. This is a little comparison here. What do you think?
Pretty good work.
It is.
Good work.
And Pat White might as well just tattoo #1 on his arm, because he now is #1 in career touchdowns for a Big East player, and by the end of today could be the all-time leading rusher in college football among quarterbacks. Here's a screen to Victor Anderson. Not much. Got the 37-yard line before Brandon Hogan made the play. Tonight, Graham Harrell and the Texas Tech Red Raiders, speaking of #1, might get there if they knock off #5 Oklahoma. Great game. Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines, part of Rivalry Week, presented by Samsung Mobile on ABC tonight, 8 Eastern. Remember, Alabama still has to play Auburn next week in the Iron Bowl. Cantwell sacked by Julian Miller back at the 30-yard line. Well, EA Sports has been predicting games for us all year. They predict that Texas Tech will win the coin toss, first of all.
Yep, it'll start off Graham Harrell to Michael Crabtree, take an early lead, but then Sam Bradford's going to come right back, lead Oklahoma at halftime. Texas Tech will lead at 21-17, and then all of a sudden they're going to be able to get pass rush on Graham Harrell like no other team has done this year. DeMarco Murray as well in the running game will run Oklahoma to a victory, 38-31 in tonight's ball game.
How accurate do you think that is?
It was very accurate in Texas Tech, Texas. So gotta pay close attention to that one.
Anderson's going to come up about 12 yards shy of the first down. So 4th down here, Louisville probably will go for it. And if Oklahoma wins that game, then there's a 3-way tie in the South between Texas, Oklahoma, Texas Tech. Could come down to the BCS standings as to who wins that division.
I got to think, though, it's going to vault Oklahoma to about #2, provided Alabama doesn't lose.
You put them ahead of Texas?
Oh, yeah. I think it's going to happen. They're in a lot of the polls already. They're ahead of Texas, and I think 2 of the 3 polls, they're ahead of Texas.
Flags down as Louisville elected to punt. Now, if Texas Tech wins, do you move them ahead of Alabama to #1?
I don't think so. I think Alabama's going to sit right there, and if they are able to take care of business going down the stretch, they win out, Alabama wins out, then we've got an interesting national championship game. But Alabama still got Florida in the SEC championship game, who might be playing the best football of anybody in the country.
Participation against West Virginia. 15-yard penalty, first down.
12 men on the field for West Virginia. Let's take a look at our All-State BCS standings. As mentioned, Alabama idle this week, as is Texas. So you're telling me Oklahoma, if it wins, you put them ahead of Texas?
Well, it's just how it's going to play out, whether or not it's right or wrong, because Texas defeated Oklahoma on a neutral field. Hey, it is what it is, but I got a feeling Oklahoma's going to jump everybody, go to #2 by beating Texas Tech. They'll fall back. It'll be Alabama, Oklahoma, Texas, and then followed by Florida. I'm not sure where Texas Tech will drop to, but won't be very far, but it'll be far enough to kind of kick them out of that top 2 or 3 range.
So in the end, you think it's going to be what, Florida, Oklahoma in the BCS
I think it'll be
championship
Florida,
game?
Oklahoma to decide it all.
So because of the penalty on West Virginia. Louisville gets the ball back. First down from its 48. Here's Chichester on the catch. Louisville needs 3 touchdowns in just under 7 minutes.
Chichester, as he grows as a player, going to be a dangerous red zone threat with all that size, good hands, knows how to position his body, and you can just kind of throw it up and let him throw up the jump ball and let him go get it.
6'8", 224 pounds.
Oh, he's not a string bean playing out there.
Cantwell with a ton of time, and his pass is tipped, and then Chichester made the catch. Almost intercepted by Kent Richardson. Good concentration by Chichester.
Excellent job of following the football with his eyes, even though it was kind of tipped by Glover. Now let's watch the eyes of Hunter Cantwell right here. This is a nice throw. Driving the football between 2 deep coverage. It's a tip, but excellent job by Chichester. Kind of hanging with the throw, the concentration.
Cantwell goes short. And it's caught by Beaumont at the 17-yard line. So a gain of only 3 there. And there's an injured West Virginia player. Bill Stewart trying to get his Mountaineers to 7-3. They started 1-2 after being ranked 8th preseason, as Julian Miller is the injured West Virginia player. For a while there, people were wondering, boy, West Virginia ranked 8th preseason. They get handled by East Carolina, lose to Colorado in overtime. People wondered, was this going to be a 4 or 5 loss year for West Virginia? But the Mountaineers have bounced back nicely and appear on their way to winning in Louisville. Still 6 minutes to go, but a 3-touchdown lead. Back in a moment. The Louisville men's basketball team getting ready for action. The Cardinals ranked 3rd in the country. And boy, they play in the toughest conference in college basketball, the Big East. Some think it might be the toughest ever, and that as many as 10 teams might get into the NCAA tournament out of there this year. Rick Pitino back at it for another year with Louisville. Meanwhile, the football team in danger of dropping to 5-6 as Chichester pulls it in for the touchdown, despite the fact he was being interfered with.
That right there was basketball-like. A little jump ball.
Pass interference. 17 on the defense. Then penalties decline. Touchdown.
Well, watch him stretch out and make this play for his quarterback, Hunter Cantwell. Just literally stretching out right here, waiting him out, getting him to the second window, and their guy draped all over him. He's able to make that catch. I'm telling you, he is going to be a nice threat down inside the red zone as he continues to mature as a receiver.
Flabbergasted by that concentration of that 6'8" receiver reaching out and pulling it in. And that gets Louisville within 2 scores with 5:56 to go here in the 4th quarter. So if you're Louisville, you come back with the onside kick. We've seen a lot of pooch kicks today.
You were determined at some point
to get that in this year, yes.
This year to get that word into the broadcast. You finally worked it in there. I love it.
Again, the 12 men on the field aiding that drive and giving Louisville the ball back. There was also roughing the punter penalty earlier.
The onside kick here, maybe?
Boy, how about this stat? 73 plays today run by Louisville. 40 of those in West Virginia territory, yet only 3 scores. And West Virginia's run 29 fewer plays than Louisville has.
But the yardage, big chunks of yardage given up by this Louisville defense to Pat White, Noel Devine. That makes it tough. You don't have to run a lot of plays if you're ripping off 60, 70 at a time.
Do you do the onside kick here? I mean, it's a 2-score game. You got 6 minutes left.
Yeah, and you still have, I think, 2 timeouts to go along with it.
I don't know. I might kick it deep and play defense here. A little early, maybe? No?
I guess he's feeling like he's going to have to do it at some point.
Timeout called
got a
here.
little momentum. Go ahead and try to capitalize on the momentum.
West Virginia calls a timeout. And let's go to Reese Davis.
All right, guys, former Louisville coach Bob Petrino now at Arkansas, already up 7-0 on the road against Mississippi State. Nathan Dick, Casey Dick's brother, finding a wide-open Lucas Miller, 87 yards. Speaking of getting yardage in chunks, and the Hogs need to win a couple to become bowl eligible, up 14-0 on the Bulldogs.
The Fighting Petrinos, as you might say. Reese leading 14-0. His former team losing by 14. And Pat White had a lot of success against Petrino in 05, a triple overtime win. And then in 06, possibly the biggest game in Big East history. West Virginia lost, even though White had 3 rushing touchdowns in that game. And then last year, in Crackthorpe's first year after Petrino left, 3 touchdowns, including a 50-yarder right there with about 2 minutes left to win the game for Louisville. And today, or for West Virginia rather, and today, 5 touchdowns accounted for Pat White.
Now look at all the yardage, 122 in the air and 196 on the ground. I mean, it's amazing football game for Pat White today.
It appears that Doherty is going for the onside kick. And good job by West Virginia blocking, and Brandon Hogan fields it at the 40-yard line. There was no black shirt around the football there, so West Virginia will take over.
Well, it was an excellent job. You see so many times a guy will pop free and have an opportunity to come up with the football, but you have an assignment and a guy to go block to allow a guy like Brandon Hogan to come up with a football. It was excellent. Just like you want to coach it up.
Pat White 3 yards shy of breaking Brad Smith's all-time record.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he gets it before the game's over.
Trying to become the all-time leading rusher among quarterbacks in college football history.
It's not much of a limb.
Now, he's averaged about 11 yards a carry. Devine, Pat White looking to block somebody. And Devine tackled at the 36-yard line. Still got about 4 yards.
You go back to the huddle if you're Pat White and say, okay, Noel, I've thrown you 1 block for the day. I got 1 in my back pocket. That's about it.
Second timeout.
You got to stop reversing field and stay front side with this baby. You'll watch here as Noel Devine comes back the other way, and now Pat White's out there. First matched up against the defensive lineman, Maurice Mitchell, and now just kind of, I'm just going to play body position in this deal the second time around.
Well, coming up in about a half an hour over on ABC, a huge one of the Big Ten. If Penn State beats Michigan State, it wins the conference. If Penn State loses the game and Ohio State beating Michigan, Ohio State would represent the Big Ten in the BCS, likely the Rose Bowl. College football presented by Best Buy as part of Rivalry Week presented by Samsung Mobile, coming up on ABC. Huge weekend of rivalries. West Virginia and Louisville. BYU Utah coming up in a huge game. Utah undefeated, trying to secure the Mountain West championship.
I think even the game tonight, Texas Tech Oklahoma, kind of taking on a rivalry type taste of its own.
That's at 8 Eastern on ABC. Pat White on the run, and he gets a block, and Pat White slides close to the first down, and it appears that White now past Brad Smith. We'll see officially whether he did it on that carry, depending on where they spot the ball.
Timeout, Louisville. It's our third and final timeout.
And Louisville exhausting its timeouts. A big third down coming up as he is 2 yards shy, and White is at 200 yards, so he passes Brad Smith, all-time leading rusher among quarterbacks in college football.
Just a smart football player as well. Realizes that he's getting close to the sideline, doesn't want to go out of bounds, sliding inbounds and getting down, keep the clock running. Smart player. Here's a record run right here for Pat White. They're just going to get him to the outside, designed run for the quarterback, and excellent block there by Jock Sanders to allow for Pat White to pick up the yardage necessary to break the record.
And the guy's a winner. 3 straight 11-win seasons. He beat Georgia in the 2006 Sugar Bowl, along with his teammates, of course. The 2007 Gator Bowl, they took down Georgia Tech, and then last year beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl. If West Virginia should somehow win the Big East, would need some help from Cincinnati, and he gets a chance to win a 3rd BCS Bowl. I mean, how many quarterbacks in college football could say, first of all, they won 4 New Year's Day bowls, and then 3 BCS Bulls. He might have a shot. Here's White on 3rd down and 2. One-on-one with a defender, and White made a man miss, but then he got crunched by Dempsey, and now it's 4th down. If you're Bill Stewart, you've got a 2-touchdown lead. Do you go on 4th or do you kick it away?
I think he's going to kick it away. Keep an eye. I'm wondering if Pat White, he lost a couple of yards. How much did he have the record by, or can he break it twice?
He actually lost the yards. He still has the record.
So he's tied with the record right now. Oh man, did he shake? Whew,
they're trying to field
the
goal.
Shoelaces off one of the Louisville defenders.
Oh, it was a fake field goal, and then the quick kick. It bounces inside the 10. Great job by McAfee. That's why he's one of the best in the country. I was surprised at first when they lined up for a field goal there with a 2-touchdown lead, risking potentially a block, but good decision there, the quick kick. And with nobody back for Louisville, McAfee pins him deep. So the Cardinals have the ball, no timeouts, and they're down by 2 touchdowns. And the ball is at their 2.
It hasn't been easy for Louisville today, has it?
Now turnovers again, the story for the Cardinals. And
yeah, that's the first thing when you start looking at teams getting ready to do a game. That's the first stat that I'll go to, is that turnover margin, and that usually tells the difference in how successful of a season a team is having or not.
3 turnovers by Louisville today. West Virginia has turned those into 14 points. Cantwell from his own end zone. Over the head of Paisley, incomplete. So West Virginia has to win the day, go to Pittsburgh on Friday and beat the Panthers, beat South Florida at home, and then hope that Cincinnati loses to either Pittsburgh tonight or Syracuse to win the Big East. But they definitely need help along with winning the remaining games.
I remember that game last year. Pittsburgh knocking West Virginia out of a national title game.
Changed the course of history in more ways than one, perhaps.
Oh yeah.
Rich Rodriguez maybe would have stayed had they had a chance to play for the BCS championship. Cantwell hanging in there to the last possible moment, finds Burns for the first down to the 28.
Excellent job there, finding Burns, surveying the field and using his eyes in zone coverage. Still able to pick up his tight end.
This game not over. Get a touchdown and then recover an onside kick, although no timeouts remaining for Louisville.
Well, Navy made it exciting with the onside kicks last week against Notre Dame.
Cantwell facing pressure from Ivy, gets a great block, and now Cantwell running, and then he runs into his own man, Chris Vaughn.
You know, we're talking to Jeff Brom about Hunter Cantwell, and not known for his escapability, but at least once or twice a game he told him, you're going to have to pull it down and make a play. That's one. He's got one left.
Here's Beaumont, who gets drilled by Brandon Hogan. We've had some big hits, and they hurt more when it's cold.
Well, Brandon Hogan seems to be everywhere on the field. Recovered the onside kick, has delivered a couple of big plays, stopped Chichester on a pass for a created a 4th down situation, and then there. Coming up on Doug Beaumont.
That's nasty, but it is a first down for Louisville. Cantwell's pass tipped again at the line by Andrews. Andre, do you think it's because of that windup?
Yeah, it's exactly it. I think he hit the nail on the head. It takes so long for him to get the ball out that he's winding it up. It gives the defender, and you talk about the next level, some of those will be going the other way.
That's at least 5, maybe 6 tip balls at the line of scrimmage.
I mean, he drops it down to bring it up. Most guys just go straight up and it's a flick of the wrist, but his is coming down below the launch point and then back up and above it.
Cantwell's pass behind Burns, incomplete. The backup quarterback, Matt Sims, who is Phil Sims' son. Phil was born in Louisville. Matt, his release point is very low.
It's actually a lot lower than Hunter Cantwell's. To start, it's almost like a pushing type motion. And he has completed 410 passes. That's 40%. That's an interception on the year. as well for Matt Sims.
Louisville in 4-down territory at this point. 3rd and 10. Just inside its own 40. Cantwell going for Chichester, and it's just overthrown, incomplete. Good coverage by Brandon Hogan. 4th down.
Got to go for it here and have any chance to get back in this ball game. Out of timeouts. So you got to try to keep the football if you're Louisville.
So 4th down and 10. Louisville will go for it. No timeouts, down 2 scores. Flag down. Cantwell's pass is caught, and it's a 1st down at midfield. Another huge hit by Hogan. This one on Paisley, but again a penalty flag down.
Well, Paisley's taken some big hits today.
Illegal formation. 6 men on the line on the offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
And you just know that drives Steve Crackthorpe nuts.
Drive a coach crazy. Drive the player that makes an excellent play like Paisley crazy. As you go up, sacrifice your body to make that catch, and then it's all for naught.
So 4th and 15. Cantwell, and down he goes. West Virginia's going to take over. Ball came out. Doesn't matter who recovers it. It's West Virginia football. Holmes and Andrews made the hit.
Just looks good on the stats. The sack, force, fumble looks a lot better than just having the ball go over on downs.
So West Virginia takes over. Pat White, 3 touchdowns rushing, 2 passing touchdowns in the game for the Mountaineers. Of all the games we've seen in person this year, is this the best individual performance that you've seen?
I think it's close. I really do. I mean, I've been very impressed with Pat White, and you talk about him at the top, and he didn't disappoint all the way through. Michael Crabtree, you can throw his name in there in some instances, but Terrell Pryor, a week or so ago, he was fantastic and is continuing to grow as a quarterback.
Devine not afraid to initiate contact there with the defender Dunning near the 1st down.
There's some games this year, Tim Tebow, that you've had a chance to watch him and him operate that Urban Meyer offense. Been fantastic, but I don't know if one that just stands out in my mind like this, where it's been the double-edged sword, where the running of Pat White as well as the couple of touchdown passes and the manner in which he's delivered them. It's been quite impressive today.
West Virginia's only had to throw the ball 11 times. They've run it 37 times. Here's Devine with White blocking again. Devine reversing field. All that to get back to the line of scrimmage. John Dempsey on the tackle. Clock running. Louisville can't stop it.
Big selfish Casper, right tackle, came back and allowed Noel Devine to get back to the line of scrimmage. Cleaned up a couple of Louisville players in the middle of the formation.
Well, Bill Stewart's going to go to 7-3, the best record for a first-year West Virginia coach since 1970, when Bobby Bowden was at the helm. West Virginia went 8-3 that year. Remember, in Rich Rodriguez's first year, the Mountaineers went 3-8, but then he turned them around the next year. They went from 1-6 in conference play to 6-1, and then had an incredible run here with the Mountaineers. We're leaving for Michigan. White. He's back over 200, or at least right at 200. Tackled by Dempsey. He broke it twice. Broke Brad Smith's quarterback rushing record twice in one game. But he's shaken up on that play, and maybe start to wonder why he's even out there with a 2-touchdown lead and no timeouts for Louisville. They can't stop the clock.
I think this one you got pretty much in your back pocket. May have just been, so cold that you still feel the lick, but I'm going to take my chances, get him off the field, and get him ready for next week.
I know he wants to stay in the game, but you got to get him out there. Call a timeout and get him off the field. He hands off to Devine, and the ball's fumbled, and Louisville recovers it. The Louisville football game's not over yet, but boy,
take a look at this, how Pat White gets himself injured. You got a defender there just kind of twisting on the ankle as John Dempsey makes the tackle, goes down low, and see the ankle roll there, but he's got a nice little hold on it, giving a little twist at the bottom of the pile.
And at that point, you've got a 14-point lead. Why even running plays? Just take a knee. They can't stop the clock. Take a knee, end the game. You got to come back on Friday and play Pittsburgh. You got a short week. You need Pat White for that game.
I agree totally, my friend.
And instead they leave him out there and run their offense.
Saw that on a couple of occasions this year. And you always wonder, why not just take the knee and go down and run the clock out?
Chichester made the catch. You know, Pat White's had some concussion issues, and he's got a different helmet on than some other players. And a great day. We just hope that it's not his last day and he's walking around okay over on the West Virginia sideline. Cantwell to Chichester again. We're seeing the coming out party of a receiver, although he couldn't hang on to it there. Looked like he had it, and then contact by Richardson and Sowers, and he couldn't pull it in.
Gets a little cold. It's hard to hold on to that football, especially when your hands are coming down on someone else's helmet. Well, that is tough. Ball feels like a rock anyway because it's just so cold.
West Virginia will improve to 7-3, 4-1 in the Big East, needing to win out and have Cincinnati lose a game to win the Big East title. Cincinnati plays Pittsburgh tonight on ESPN2. Cantwell hit as he throws, incomplete. Scooter Berry with pressure. Louisville will fall to 5-6. And the Cardinals' last game will be at Rutgers on a Thursday night.
West Virginia still in it.
And that's going to be
a couple of things have to happen for them, but they're still in it.
And for Louisville, that's going to be a huge game. Rutgers,
oh yeah,
fighting for a bowl game. You got the BCS berth, obviously, then the Gator Bowl, then you have the Sun, the Meineke Car Care, the International Bowl, PapaJohns.com, and St. Petersburg Bowls, as Good picks off the pass, and Cantwell loses his lid as West Virginia will take over inside the 10.
Najee Good, the linebacker, read the eyes of Hunter Cantwell, and he tries to stop. A nice effort here on the part of the quarterback. When you throw one, you at least got to go fetch the guy that picked you off.
That's kind of insult to injury there.
Oh
though.
yeah, helmets coming off, all kind of
3 interceptions.
Bad things today. Now Bill Stewart will take the knee, run this 4 seconds off the clock, and end this baby.
As Pat White hobbles up to the line to take the snap. Again, unsure why that you'd even put him in the game there. It just doesn't make any sense. That'll end the game. West Virginia 35, Louisville 21. Bill Stewart's Mountaineers go to 7-3, still alive for a Big East championship. Cincinnati plays tonight against Pittsburgh, and the Mountaineers have the Panthers on Friday. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. College football scoreboard presented by Acura is up next. Tune into ESPN News for our postgame extra in a few moments. For Andre Ware, our entire production crew, I'm Dave Pash. So long from Louisville, Kentucky, where Pat White accounts for 5 touchdowns. Now to Reese, Mark, and Lou in the studio.